Man, so it's been, I don't know if you remember us, but it was like we talked to you a couple years ago.
Yeah,
So, yeah. We actually got the crew paratrooping story with Dave Mustaine out of you. So, so people don't know about your parties with Concrete Media. So still, right? Marketing. Sorry. Oh man, I know. It's like, those M's get me, man. So another first thing I wanted to ask you is because I remember talking to you before, and you were talking about you were going to be one of the panelists on that uh, bandit show.
Oh,
Yeah. So how did that go?
well, I was one of the producers.
Oh, you were a producer. Okay, gotcha.
So it was great. I mean, we got critically it went over really well. We were on Access,
Okay.
which is wonderful. Lots of people there. It was a great program. Unfortunately, distribution is not particularly great. So presently, we're re-editing it, making the episodes a little longer,
Okay.
and putting in more interaction and cutting out some of the music. And it's going to go on Tubi.
Okay.
So it doesn't go out much. It's probably about 10 times distribution. So,
Yeah. Well, it's Tubi regularly, actually.
I do too. Yeah.
so if that goes well, then they'll pick up season 2.
Right. That's what I was kind of leading into is if they're going to do another one. So that'd be awesome. So did anything come with whoever won that? Did they wind up going on to other things? Or?
No, we wound up that the band that won kind of broke up.
Oh man, that always sucks, dude.
It's really hard with bands.
It is, yeah. So, well, I was kind of hoping like this would be a thing to kind of like push them into something that would keep them going,
Right,
instead of doing the opposite. So.
It's very tough, very
Oh yeah, well you would know more than anybody, obviously. So I mean, you've been in it long enough to know the heartaches and triumphs. So.
Well, actually, I mean, probably happens more often than not that you run across acts that really don't make it. Because like we talk about all the time, the amount of bands that
make it, or 5 out of 100.
Yeah,
not make it. That's make a living on it.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah, it's like the whole thing. The same thing with athletes. I mean, everyone that was like, I want to play football. It's like, do you realize the infinitesimal amount of people who want to play football will actually make it?
How many high schools are out there?
Yeah, I mean, it's less than 1% of like the athletes who are so many jobs. But that's the thing. So I mean, you can only imagine like how many acts you've seen come across that like this could be something that just doesn't ever materialize. Right. So, I mean, that's got to be actually probably almost like the rule instead of the exception almost. It's probably backwards in what you would think. Yeah.
I know we're kind of out of our element with you because I know you do a lot of behind the scenes stuff that we don't normally get to see. So it's kind of cool to pick somebody's brain about some of the stuff.
We spend most of the time
just listening. So.
Yeah, we're just fans and we're interviewing the bands. But I mean, aside from what we got to speak to you a couple of years ago, we don't actually get to see this side of it too much. Which is nice to be that you're able to come and sit with us again. So, I mean, other than the TV show, I mean, what else has been happening?
Well, I've also been doing a bunch of consulting, and I do consulting for an Italian label for years.
Yeah, you know that.
Absolutely.
I helped orchestrate getting Biohazard signed there.
Yeah.
They finished their record. I heard it's amazing.
Looking forward to that. Yeah.
Everyone's going to be thrilled. All Biohazard fans are going to be thrilled. Yeah. Frankly, with Biohazard, we worked their records back in the day. I had them on my Black Sabbath tribute record that I produced. They opened up the album.
So which tribute record did you produce?
Tribute in Black.
Yeah,
okay. I didn't know. I didn't know you did that one. Okay. Yeah. I actually still have that cassette at home.
Oh man, that was a great.
It was Pantera.
Such a good compilation.
Metalheads.
So
a lot of records. And then everyone on on the record.
That helps.
Well, yeah.
And Columbia gave me an imprint, record label imprint through Columbia, and that was the first record that came out.
Oh, so that,
I would say that's a lot better. It was a lot better put together than the Metallica's Black revision, the album revision. I'll tell you that. So,
yeah.
there wasn't a lot of hard rock metal acts for you doing stuff. I guess that's why I didn't care much for that one. But
We did good. We got a Grammy nomination to make it that right.
yeah,
The Rolling Stones, number 3 best tribute record of the year. Rolling Stones. Several gold records from the U.S. It entered the Billboard chart, I think, in 30 or 29, something like that. So it did really well. It was funny. They were an interesting story.
Love it, yeah.
Yeah, let's go. he said story.
So I'm almost at the record, right? I'm just finishing up the last track. The last track was Bowling Brothers, all right, which was Rob Halford singing with the rest of the Black Sabbath. Right? And Ozzy do a song with Therapy, a band that he would like. They did Iron Man. And Bowling Brothers, they did, what did they do? Wizards? I think it was the Wizards. I'm forgetting anyway. But that was the last one. It was a little hard to put all the Sabbath guys together. Anyway, the general manager of the Columbia Fred Earl, calls me up and says, listen, I have an A&R talking about the album. Came in and started talking, played a couple tracks, and he says, yeah, what about this Big Joe track? What about it?
You're right.
Great track. Okay. I think it really kind of fits. Like, well, yeah, I mean, first of all, Ozzy's a big fan of Big Joe. Took him out on Twitter. And I love the band. And I think they did a great job performing. Okay. A couple days later, I get a call from the GM. And he goes, listen, we decided we're not going to put the record out.
At all?
What?
At all. I go, I thought it was joking. They saw that. It's funny. He goes, no, I'm serious. Really? You don't want to play? He goes, well, what? He goes, well, the head of A&R doesn't feel okay. All right. I was like, shocked.
Yeah.
Right? So I hang up the phone, and what I should have done was say, great. Got this like we said, because we'll give you back the record. We don't want to mess it up. We'll give you back the record. We'll take an override, a couple points override, and go tell somebody else.
Yeah.
All right. If my ego didn't get in the way, all right, ego didn't get in the way, I would have said, great. I would have, got signed off. I would have got an amazing bidding awards. Right? And it only cost me about $100,000.
Nice. That's not bad. Even for that time. You think that's a lot of money, but
with that star power.
Right. Exactly.
So, but my ego went away. So I called another buddy who was the head of marketing, and I called him up, and his name was Jimmy Quinn. And I called him, hey, Jimmy, how you doing? Good, what's going on? Well, it's interesting. Fred just gave me back the Black Sabbath record. What? Yeah, he doesn't want it. Don't you do anything. Don't move. And hangs up the phone. 5 minutes later, he calls me back. I spoke to Fred. We're keeping the record. I thought you would have wanted to.
Yeah.
Did they ever did you ever get any justification to why they were feeling that way? Was it just that Ugly Kid Joe
track? It was the Ugly Kid Joe track, whatever it is. And then when the record came out, and it debuted high in the charts and did over, I get a note from Johnny Iron, who was the president of Columbia.
Okay.
And it's a little card, right? With his Johnny Iron on the bottom, Columbia Records thing. And all it said was, you were right, D.
Should have sent the card
I
back.
told you so.
Yeah, you should have sent the card back. Said, yes, I was.
Yeah. Told you so. But I thought the Ugly Kid Joe track was great. I mean,
There wasn't
nothing wrong with that
no,
track.
there wasn't a bad song on the album. I mean, like we were talking about with Lost Circus. I mean, everyone's putting their own spin on these tracks, and it's just it's literally what it is. It's a tribute to like the godfathers of heavy metal. I mean, everyone's
It's a great song, right? Every song was a great song.
Yeah.
On the record. Pantera was supposed to be on the record. They recorded a song. I mean, interesting
Planet
enough.
Carolina.
Yeah. And interesting enough, we managed them as well.
Yeah.
And the label president at Elektra, she wouldn't let me have it.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I always thought
I think that sounds like somebody else's.
I actually thought that was interesting because I thought that whenever it came out on the Far Beyond Driven, right?
Yeah.
So whenever it was on that, I was just like, man, I wonder why that wasn't on the NIB
It
record.
was made for me,
Wow.
but it didn't want it. And then later on, got licensed for it. I also worked on the Black Sabbath 2 with Sharon Oswald. So from the Tiffany Black 2, we licensed it for that. It already came out, so the label didn't care for it.
Yeah. So, sorry. How is she to work with? We've all heard the stories about like
she's brilliant.
Yeah.
She's an amazing lady. I've always gotten along great with her, and she's always been super helpful. Always, whenever I call up and that's something that I love to do, she's always open to it. I mean, she had Ozzy play my foundation for invention.
That's awesome.
They played that in a hotel ball. And we used to go over the house on a regular basis, and work stuff out. She wrote me into. I remember that when Ozzy renegotiated his record deal with Epic, they wrote me in that Epic had hired me.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Hired me and gave me an $8,000 budget to work on it.
That's
Nothing
too
wrong
hard
with
to handle.
So I love Sharon. She's always been great.
Because like I said, we've all heard the stories about the shit that all the stuff that went on behind the scenes at Ozfest. Of course, it's probably people telling their own side of the story. Of course, there's always two sides of everything. But Sharon's gotten a lot of shit over the years. She really has.
I think that's true of any great businesswoman. They get, it's the whole thing. If man's tough, he's like,
He's a go-getter or whatever.
Yeah. Woman's tough, he's a bitch.
Right, yeah.
It's a very sexist type of an attitude.
It's definitely played out that perspective. Yes, I mean, just because she's been. I can't remember when. Because, we all know that Dawn was the manager for Black Sabbath, and then when Ozzy and her got together, she kind of basically told her dad, like, Ozzy's mine now. And they got married, of course, so Ozzy's mine now. Leave alone. But I mean, she's been watching out for him for 40, 50 years at this point, damn near.
Yeah, more than
Yeah, so I mean, long ass time. Definitely since, late 70s, early 80s and shit.
Yeah,
So I mean, it's been a long time.
70s,
Yeah, so I mean, it's been a long time.
So you were part of the part 2 of Tiffany and Black 2?
Yeah, exactly.
So I was just looking because I actually forgot about part 2 until you said that. I was like, oh yeah, it was a part 2. But just looking at the bands involved in that, kind of crazy too.
Yeah.
Machine Head, Static X, System of a Down, Pantera. Jeez, such a
Metallica did their Sabricadabra.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Even got Sir Mix-a-Lot in there.
Yeah.
That's kind of an odd pairing.
Well, I mean, it's definitely kind of it's definitely an outlier stylistically, of course, for sure. I mean, hell, but you're also talking about a band in general, and then a front man more specifically that's
in a whole different genre paying tributes. Kind of says a lot about how much that man meant to music in general.
Yeah,
not just metal.
Ozzy's become an icon musically and artistically there for a little while. So,
without a doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's just all the artists that walk around with. Well, of course, Ozzy doesn't go by. He's Ozzy Osbourne. So, I mean, everyone just knows who. You just say Ozzy, everyone knows who.
Totally.
So Ozzy who? You never have to go Ozzy who. Everyone knows who everyone is.
And Sharon was like a major person that made that all happen. She knew how to. She knows how to market. She knows how to promote. She does a great job. Did an amazing job.
And had to help him through, his health struggles and stuff too.
Right.
A lot of people probably don't give her enough credit for that.
Right.
Because he's 74, 75 now, 76, somewhere around there. And I mean, some of the stuff he's had to go through. I mean, I read his book, and he was like, in his book, he was like, I don't even know how I'm even alive to write this anymore. How I'm alive to write this, So I mean, he gave a lot of credit to her, and a lot of credit is due because I mean, he probably would have died a long time ago. For her, because everything that he put himself through. So I mean, she deserves a lot more credit than she really gets. I think she has for a long time. Nobody's perfect, of course, but I mean, I mean, you've been doing this a long time. Not every decision's the right decision. Not every decision works out. Right. I mean, you try to do the best you can. What works, what doesn't, you try to move on.
We're pressed for a little bit of time here, but I wanted to touch on. You were talking about your consultation stuff. Is that part of the Fearless Agency thing that you got?
Well, Fearless Agency, that was on the advertising side. I work with them, but on consulting, I consult.
You're just doing that independently, or?
Yeah, I mean, consulting is my company, and I get brought in for different reasons.
Right.
I was brought in, again, with the same group that did the TV show. I'm working on a project now. I think I came in again as a producer on not metal, but I'm a super fan of the sax music.
Okay.
Our sax record. And we did a 3-part series on Steve Cropper.
Okay.
The fans out there who don't know who Steve Cropper is, and most don't. He is to rock music and soul music what Eddie Van Halen is to hard rock. I mean, he invented a style that's known today. Listen to the opening of Soul Man. That's Steve Cropper. And that style of guitar, that real tasty little bits is what he actually developed. And Soul Man, he co-wrote it, he produced it, he played on it, as well as sitting with Dr. Bay, and I'm Coming, and Respect, and like 500 other songs.
And there's probably metal artists that are probably play off of what he did.
Well, let's put it this way. So we did the documentary. We spoke to a lot of artists, right? Joe Walsh, you'll hear him say that listening to Green Onion, such as Booker T and the MG and Steve on guitar, because listening to Green Onion, that's why I picked up the guitar.
There you go.
That was the reason.
Not every metal artist is influenced just by another metal artist before that. I mean, all the time.
Brian May from Queen also gave Steve's like Nathan props. Billy Gibbons, Joe Bonamassa, Peter Frampton. The list goes on and on.
Well, unfortunately, like I say, we've only got
I still want to hook up with you and do a show with you, because I think there's so much that we can dig into because I think a lot of times we try to be well rounded and get Actually, we were talking to one of the guys that send us music as a PR guy. We actually trying to talk him into coming on our show and talking the PR side of things. And I think everybody just needs to realize that it's not always about the fans. So there's a lot of people behind the scenes churning things for those guys. But yeah, I would. I know we talked about this before, and for some reason it just never fruition. But that sounds great, man. Yeah, appreciate it again. Like I said, we've learned so much from talking to you. So it's I feel like we're just scratching the surface of the stuff. Like, as long as you've been around, I mean, you share there's a lot of stuff. I'm gonna get to sign that for me.
Sure.
Get up. I'll definitely. You want me to better email you or?
Yeah, just send me an email.
Sure. Yeah.
We do. Bob, it was good to see you again, sir.
Always a pleasure, sir. Always.
Take care, man.
All right, thank you.
Don't forget your Pepsi. Mike Muir would kill for one of those. I love how everyone
Knows that whole thing,
knows that whole thing about Mike Neary just doing those suicidal tendencies.
Yeah, I wish I could find out about that other venture I was wanting to ask him about, but that's all right. Hopefully we'll get Bob back on the show down the road and we can dig deeper into that. So.
We may move it from the hill so the downwind didn't bring the livestock. So, yes.
Yeah, drummer.
We have drummer Christopher Williams in the house. From Accept. Christopher.
Nice. I'm a Christopher that's never Chris.
Yeah. Well, I go by Chris unless I'm in trouble. So.
There you go. But it depends on how many names you're using. Right?
Oh yeah, Christopher.
Scale.
Christopher Andrew. It's like, oh shit.
Yeah. But if you get all three,
Yeah.
just go.
Thankfully that didn't happen too often. But yeah. So how are you doing?
Good.
Been a good day?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us. We definitely
Thanks for
appreciate it.
having me.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we talked to Martin 2 different times, so it's kind of
Okay.
kind of like it's good to get a different perspective. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, somebody actually stares at his ass all the time. So I'm just kidding.
well, I mean, you don't play the drums standing up. You probably can.
Slim Jim Phantom does that.
Yeah, you can. You
I
can.
could, but no.
It doesn't happen.
I'm
It
good.
doesn't happen.
I'd rather sit down.
Yeah, it doesn't happen. Well, it's hard to play double
Probably,
bass.
yeah,
Hard to play
with your
double
feet,
bass when you're
yeah.
standing up.
Yeah, you would tend to run and then you just fall over the drum. So it's not really good for anybody involved.
No, it wouldn't be conducive for longevity.
You're gonna have a bad time.
Well, when you French fry when you shoot a pizza, that's right.
You get
There
it.
you go, yeah.
You know, you're one of the first people that's ever got.
I say that. Well, I say that shit all the
And I
time.
always say it in that voice.
Yep.
You're gonna have a bad
Yeah,
time.
I do the same thing you just did. Trying to see. All right, I said it. Who gets it?
Yeah. You're like,
Damn it! And you're just like, oh shit.
you
whiff.
might be the first one
Yeah.
that's ever picked up on that.
Well, I say it. I do. I say it all the time.
For those of you who may or may not know,
South Park.
South
Yeah,
Park,
South
South
Park,
Park
yep.
hits.
Yeah.
It'll change your life.
Yeah.
do
For
20.
for better or worse,
You
it'll
do.
change your life.
You got
Better.
You got 20 some odd seasons to
26,
of homework to do.
Yeah, I started on season 1.
Yep.
Same with Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah.
It was on Lincoln Television.
Oh yeah.
And then my brother is 5 years older than me. He and I introduced my mother to Beavis and Butthead.
She was probably listening.
And Ren and Stimpy. Which, if you think about it, Ren and Stimpy used to just be on straight up Nickelodeon.
Yep.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Go back and rewatch a lot of that
I know.
stuff as an adult.
I know.
You're like, how was that on there?
Well,
dark, man.
Well, see, the funny thing is like
That explains a lot.
well, the funny thing is Ren and Stimpy was bad, but like when my kids were watching SpongeBob,
There's all kinds of dirty stuff.
I was like, I would never sit and watch it with them,
Sure.
but I'd like be walking through the house right here from the kitchen. I'd be like, what the fuck did they just say?
Yeah. I was out by that point, but yeah.
But I
I've
was
seen
like,
little
holy
bits
shit,
and
this is a
pieces
kids show.
online.
They weren't swearing or anything, but there was innuendo in that show. I was like, holy shit! I can't
Oh yeah, dude. Think about Johnny Bravo.
I
Oh yeah.
love that show.
Hey,
I know, I love that show.
Hey, pretty
Like,
I know.
dude, the hot nurse, or even
Yeah.
the Powder Puff Girls or Power Puff.
Yeah, Power Puff, yeah.
Like the mayor
Uh-huh.
with his assistant.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus.
I know.
Like,
This is great.
swing.
We're at a metal convention talking about cartoons.
I know.
It's awesome.
It's awesome. I love it.
You know, it's,
Or like Dexter's Laboratory, Dexter's
Oh
Mother.
yeah.
Same thing. Yeah.
easy.
Yeah. So
It's so great.
Well, I mean, even like when I was growing up, I had like my first job was overnight stalker, and like Space Ghost Coast to Coast would be on playing, and like I go back and listen to that now, and it's like, oh wow, like that's
the
crazy.
stuff that you could get away with
Because it was so like innuendos, nobody caught it.
Right.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
kids didn't care.
I mean, Ren and Stimpy, don't you whiz on the electric fence.
Oh yeah, oh my god, yeah.
Yeah.
And they just
You remember
they do a
you-
cut. They do a cutaway, but you full on the back. You see Ren taking a piss on a Game Boy,
Uh-huh. Yeah. I know.
doing the whole thing. Like,
My favorite part of Ren and Snippy was always the horse.
No,
No, sir, I don't like it. No, sir, I don't like it.
Our singer Mark Tornillo,
Yes.
Mark and I use that line
Yeah,
all the time.
yeah,
All the time.
I love it.
No sir,
So we-
sir. Like,
No, sir, I don't like it.
We actually got lucky enough to catch you guys. Were you with me
What's that?
at the Accept show? Did you go?
Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't remember. Like I know there was like
KK
one you did.
Streets?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, so we caught you guys in Nashville at that show. So,
Awesome.
so it was like, yeah.
so here.
Yeah, Brooklyn, yep.
Such a great.
I never know where anybody is. A lot of people travel to live.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we live about 45 minutes south of here.
Okay,
We came up for the show.
We're Murfreesboro.
Columbia.
Columbia, well, that's south, yeah.
Yeah.
I lived in Murfreesboro for a couple years, but that was like 25 years ago. So.
Yeah.
So,
Murfreesboro-
so you're local now, right? Too, right?
Oh,
Or no?
yeah, 17 years.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So,
Yeah, I'm out in front of you.
yeah, you
Oh yeah, okay.
Everybody that's, hey man, where do you go? I'm in the Hermitage behind the Hooters.
What? You're not gonna be able to stay that long.
I could walk to Hooters in like 2 or 3 minutes.
You're gonna change
It's
that.
closed now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Ain't gonna be a Hooters.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife and I, because I loved it. I mean, Hooters was cool as a kid and all that, but as a beer drinker, they had Guinness on tap.
Oh yeah.
And it's right there.
Yeah.
I've got
Dangerous.
I've got a kegerator that I built in the kitchen that'll hold 2 sixes. But in order for me to convert it over to a nitric system, it's going to be like $600.
Yeah.
Plus
Or I
the
just walk
keg.
over there.
Or I could just walk over there.
And the cool thing is you can walk, stumble home.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Or if you already got that set up, you probably could do enough tubing just to, come off of theirs.
Back into the system. What's this weird?
Didn't I just feel this? Like, what's going on?
What's with these weird hoses?
Ainsley and I are really, really hoping something cool will go in there. It's got to be a restaurant.
Oh yeah, it's already set up.
Right. Yeah.
But just hoping something cool will go. But what's crazy, Jack Gibson from Texas lives a mile.
Yeah.
We talked
Yeah,
to
last
Jack
couple
a
years.
couple years ago when we were here. The same year we talked to Martin, we talked to Jack. Yeah, so I mean, it was.
A lot of dudes here.
How much of the accepts actually
Janie
local?
Crab was living here. We just talked
Mark's in Jersey, Ula's in Frankfurt, so the rest of us are all here.
Oh, okay. So pretty much the majority of the band.
The rhythm section and Wolf.
Oh,
like, wait, Wolf's living here too?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we agree.
Oh shit! I
yeah,
didn't
that's
know
what Martin was telling us that last time.
We've been in
Wolf.
Nashville since like '93 or something.
that. Wow.
Because Wagner moved here.
He
and
probably
Wolf
did
moved
tell
here
everybody.
right around the same
Because
time.
I want to say when
They were actually neighbors at one point.
Weird.
Wolf lived out when the band was non-existent. Like they split up,
Right.
and he was doing photography full time.
Yeah.
He and Wagner lived across the street.
Oh, nice.
Since they were buds.
I want to say when Martin auditioned, he was saying Wolf was already living here. So
Yeah.
so,
Yeah, he's been here a long time.
Yeah. Hell, I moved here in '93. I'm originally from Michigan, but I mean, I moved to Tennessee in '93. But it's,
yeah, you might as well. You might as well. You're a transplant.
Yeah.
now, so I mean,
yeah, I mean, I know.
You're local now.
Everyone's like, yeah, you might as well be from here, but I got this.
so you came. So
Now,
you
where in Michigan?
so you were in the band before Martin, then, correct?
Yeah, I've been
Yeah.
10 years.
Yeah.
Yep, it's 2015.
So what was
Actually, end of this month were my first shows. 10 years in South America.
Nice.
it doesn't look like you had too much of a transition, seeing as who you worked with before. So I mean, it's like you had Simmons and Freely and people like that. So.
Gene and Ace was 2018 when Gene was doing the solo tour.
Okay.
And then Ace was opening for Gene, and it was the same backing band. It was
That's so funny.
Phil
That
Schaus,
is weird
Jerry
to hear.
Asbrock, and Ryan Cook. And so we went to Australia, did those gigs with Ace, and Ace had 8 shows in Japan. And it was just set up, well, we already got visas, we're already together, so
Yeah, might as well, right?
Yeah,
so that was great. And then I went back out with Accept because we had a winter tour right around the time that they started. The rest of the guys stayed with Ace and then toured with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, then I pulled Phil in. I pulled Phil in I think 2017.
Okay.
He and I met in late, I think it's December 2009, and then really hit it off May 2010, right after the flood.
Yeah.
Our bands were supposed to do a gig together.
Right.
He got flooded out, or his drummer did, or somebody.
Yeah.
And they still came out to the gig anyway. And then
Nice.
had this total stepbrothers moment at his house a week later.
John Stamos.
Talking, yeah, he was full on that. He goes, "We're talking about favorite albums," and I go, "Yeah, probably my favorite record of all time. Nobody really knows it. It's a live album by Humble Pie, Fillmore, 1973." He goes, "King Biscuit Flower Hour?" And I go, "You know it?" He goes, "I've got 3 copies, man." And it was full on. He said, "You want to do karate in the garage?" Yes. He goes over, throws the LP on the turntable, and we're air guitaring and jumping off the couch.
Hell yeah.
We turned into little kids again.
The epitome of the Step Brothers.
But that was the initial bond, and then through him, of course, I met Jeremy and Ryan and that whole scene.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So even when I joined the band, they had a couple guys they were interested in for guitar, and the manager asked, "Do you know anybody here?" I said, "Yeah, Phil Schaus. That's your guy." And
Yeah, full stop, yeah.
And Ula was brought in because he had a relationship with the band already.
Right.
And then, of course, Great Digger, Rebellion, all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Yes.
So he came in, but then we did Bach in 2017, and it was going to be a solo section, a little solo album for a half hour. Who's going to play guitar? Phil Schaus.
Yeah.
And this guy Danny that we were hanging out with, it's like Danny's bass player, Phil Schaus is the guitar player in the tour.
Yeah.
And then we did a symphonic tour in 2019.
Nice.
And Uwe because Uwe's a producer as well. So
Okay.
Uwe was lined up for the whole year, basically,
I don't doubt it.
with stuff he was doing. And it's like, "Yeah, dude, I got all this going on."
Right.
"Okay, well, are you cool sitting it out?" He goes, "Yeah, just get Phil. He was great."
I just called Phil.
Call Phil. So we did the tour with him, and he absolutely killed it, as he always does. He's a great hang. Wolf reached out to all of us after that tour and just said, "Hey, what do you guys think about doing the 3 guitar thing?" Because there were always extra parts from the record that never got played. Like Princess to the Dawn, I don't know how many times I played that song, much less how many times Wolf has. But there's an acoustic guitar part in there that's never been played live. Because you've got the rhythm part chugging along, as Wolf's playing lead or whatever part. Now you've got that part in there. Like we filled up all this harmony guitar solos, so you never wanted to lose the rhythm part.
Right.
So Peter and now Martin, of course,
Yeah.
but the bass were always picking up the slack, but never.
You always lost something live. There's always a missing element.
And now it's there.
Yeah.
It sounds so tight.
Yeah.
It's killing it now.
Always kid. It's like Martin's a stationary guy. He never moves. He's just like,
No, he
he's
does
playing his little corner.
Yeah, that was the bad thing. It's like where we
we were on the
we-
opposite sides, so
We were stage. Now let me ask you this, because I always fucking get it wrong. You're sitting at the drum kit, right?
Upstage.
Stage left, stage right.
Where you're sitting, yes.
Okay, so then we
So,
were
stage
we were
left.
stage.
So there's stage and house.
Okay, so
Okay.
we were house right. We were house right.
So
Martin-
house is when you're in the audience
Looking
or
at the
at front of house,
Okay.
where the
I
audio
always
is
got
like,
that shit wrong. I was like, where the hell do I sit? Because I'm always trying to tell my orientation. All right, so I was house. We were house right.
Yep.
Martin was
which
stage
is stage
right.
left,
Yeah.
and Martin's
So Martin was
stage
stage right.
is
And at one
house
point,
left.
I was like, is he ever going to come over here? Because we were trying to get pictures of everybody.
Of everybody,
We got Wolf, we got you, we got Wolf, we got Mark, we got everybody. It's like, is Martin ever? Because there was no way we were. Because we were like maybe 2 people deep from the rail. So I mean, we had a great eye line and everything. But I was like, I told him that someone's like, is Martin ever going to come over here? He never did.
Once once we got the majority of the band, once it went up to 6, and nobody ever really thinks about it, but then it becomes a thing of balance. Where do we put everybody?
Right.
You can't have 5 people at the front of the stage because it's just not going to work.
Right.
Where do you put everything?
Well, some stages y'all work big enough to hold 5 people in the front.
So they were just kind of like, all right, and you go there. And that's your spot.
That's where
you
he
stay
stayed.
there.
That's where he stayed.
Uva, if you notice, he hangs back in his spot. Sometimes he'll come up. If it's a lead, he always comes up.
Sure.
Or a harmony thing. But usually those 2 guys are planted and we just jam.
Yep.
It's like, let those 3 have the reins. You guys run around and be idiots. We're just going to hang back and make sure this thing is locked.
Yeah, it works. It absolutely works.
So are you guys getting ready to go on like a second leg, or y'all breaking for a second leg right now?
We've got shows this year, but it's a lighter year.
Okay.
Next year, I don't know how much I can say, but it's the 50th anniversary.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
There will be things happening next year.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
I saw something from Wolf online. I think it was Blabbermouth, but I mean, there's plenty of outlets
There's
but I mean,
stuff coming down the pipeline.
Right, Wolf was kind of like, we're thinking about it. We got some things in the air, but he was very vague. And of course,
So-
that's the thing. He was like, we have some ideas, but nothing's set.
Yeah.
So,
I haven't seen any dates, but I know things are happening.
Sure. I mean, how can you?
It'd
not?
be kind of cool to get a Udo and Mark duet or something. That'd be pretty cool.
I'm not saying it wouldn't happen or couldn't
Well, I mean,
happen.
Anything can happen in the like we just watched Stephen Piercy and Warren DeMartini on stage together. So
There's a lot of stuff,
Yeah, they're really curious. I mean,
but it's more from the Udo side.
sure.
Right.
You talk to Wolf about it, and he's an open book, man. And he's just like, okay, well, I don't really want to go into it because we've already said all that we
Right.
can say. But,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, you know what?
he's kind of the
they're
same.
split for a reason.
We have
And there's a lot of
and he
personalities.
said
You know,
we have an insider on their record label, so maybe we can pick his brain and find what's going on there.
We actually do.
I met Udo in 2023. I was out with Elegant Weapons.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
Yeah.
Elegant Weapons. Yeah, that was a great album.
And which we just finished the second album. of that
Nice.
band. So
Yeah.
that'll be coming out probably next year.
Nice.
But yeah, Udo was on the gig, and it was the first time I had seen Peter since he left. Because he left and just kind of stopped talking to
Right.
and not just the band.
Oh, I know.
They moved to Florida and stopped everybody in Nashville.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm like, hey, kind of miss my bud, but okay, respect. But
No, I mean, it's
we
just
caught
one of
up.
those
We
things.
had a good hang, and I went through catering, and Udo was behind me, and I was like, shit. Do I do it? Do I not?
Right.
I just turned around and introduced myself, and
Well, I mean, it's kind. I mean, it's
He's an asshole.
no, I mean, it was just really short. He's like,
what, the interaction or Udo?
oh my God. But it was very, you could tell he was not interested in meeting me at all, and that's fine.
Right. Sure.
I don't know the guy.
But
I've got no qualms. I play drums in a band.
Yeah. But that's the thing though. Is like you took a chance because you're like this. You never know. Like when am I going to cross paths?
And why not, too? Like,
Yeah.
I don't have any animosity.
Yeah, it's like I wasn't.
don't-
Yeah, I wasn't there. Sure. Yeah.
That wasn't.
Yeah.
Like I said, I play drums.
Yeah. You were probably.
And that's it.
Yeah. You were probably.
I show up and play drums.
Yeah.
Man.
You were a kid probably when all that shit happened.
That's my ball buster. Anytime they get on me about being young,
It's like Mark, you're 70. Hush.
you kids. I'm the youngest in the band by 10 years.
Oh wow.
I think no, Motnik broke that up. But for the longest time, because Uva's 10 years older, so for the longest time I was always the youngest.
There you go.
But anytime that kind of hazing happens, I just remind him, I
You
go,
got
hey,
that. Yeah.
you do realize that, that Metal Heart came out the summer of the year that I was born. I was born in November. So you realize that album even came out, and I'm carrying you on stage
Right, yeah.
every night. And you'll just see all the faces
Yeah,
all up
yeah.
and just go, oh.
I love
It's
that.
great. I just get to twist
Just a needle. Yeah.
All right.
It's all in good fun, though. You know.
We gotta
Yeah,
cut
Chris,
this like
yeah,
so.
yeah,
Yeah, so,
they're
man,
coming to take you
yeah,
away.
coming to take-
Coming to take you away.
yeah, get a signature on that from you.
Today. Absolutely. Now, what am I signing?
It's just
Is this
it's
a contract?
yeah,
No.
My firstborn child,
yeah.
I bequeath to you.
Be like without a paddle, you owe me a left nut.
Yeah,
You know?
it was great to meet
Thanks
you,
for
man.
having
Yes,
us.
Yes,
man.
sir.
It's good to meet another member. Another
We're working
aspect.
our way through the band.
Yeah, we're gonna work our way through.
Different
We'll
kind of group
get
we don't
Wolf
together.
at some. Yeah,
We're all open, man. If you can get hold of Wolf, there you go.
there you go. Have it all.
Jesus,
I mean,
bucket list kind of thing.
yeah.
At this
We
point,
need
yeah.
3 hours for that probably. So
He's here. You know.
never can hurt, right?
You never know unless you ask.
That's right.
Like with Udo, you never know unless you ask. All right, man.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, everyone's forgetting their drinks.
I know, right? We're gonna have a
I
we're
don't
gonna,
know ask you after this interview, but I'm done. So someone else will probably come pick you up if you've got anything else on your schedule. Okay? If not,
they
that's fine.
better or we're gonna hold him hostage. He's got a lot to talk about.
Actually, if you're done here, you can go back to your table. Because it says to refer you back to your table. So you're done. I don't know what else is on your schedule at what time, but you're done here, I'm back to your table. Okay? It was nice meeting you. Thank you.
Brian, it's nice to meet you, sir. Thank you for
Jason,
joining us.
nice to meet you.
Chris, nice to meet you. Thank you for joining us. That we just
We're talking to Brian Forsyth, guitarist for numerous of bands back in the day. So, what happened?
I don't know. Where's his feet?
Oh, what happened to it here?
I'm not sure.
You just got kicked off. Oh, did the camera go out or something? Did the, I mean, he's on there over here, so
I don't see him here.
I don't know. He's on there, so I don't know what happened. But, I mean, if he's on there, we can check the YouTube real quick, and make sure. But I mean, there's finished up with Chris right there. So
Chris is on there, so it's a little bit behind. I understand that. Did he freeze?
I think he froze. But he's on there. When that's there it goes. Just trying for some reason. Sorry about that.
Hey, there he is. All right. We got it.
Okay.
Yeah, we got it.
I guess.
Okay, there it is. All right. Sorry about that, Brian. All right, we just finished up with Christopher Williams, drummer from Accept, joining us now. A man of many talents, guitar being one of them.
of many bands too,
Yes,
I
of
guess.
many
So.
bands, many talents, many bands. Quite the career. Brian Forsyth is joining us now here on the podcast. Brian, sorry for the little bit of a delay there, but thank you for joining us.
So
Absolutely.
It's cool to actually get to we don't get to do this much because we kind of focus on newer bands most of the time. So we get a little giddy when we come to these things because we get to see and talk to bands that we actually grew up listening to.
Right. Yeah.
And I think Kicks was one of the first videos I remember ever seeing was of course Cold Blood, but I think y'all kind of go through some of the progressions with Kicks. It's kind of what I wanted to touch base on because we talk a lot about how you guys went into that first record kind of felt good, and then the kind of walk us through that, and when the record label kind of said, "Yeah, we're going this direction now." So,
tale as old as time.
So is is that like just like was it hard to get out of that contract, or do you just had to do the records and just bite it? And,
Um, nah, it was sort of like a back and forth. Well, it was more like a learning process.
gotcha.
Because, we didn't know what to expect, and we didn't know how. Like, when we went into the second record, they wanted more singles or, of course, the record company's going to push for singles.
Right.
And we just thought, well, that must be what happens when you have a record deal. So we went with it, and then we found out, right as we were finishing up that record, we were on our final mixes, and our A&R guy comes down to the studio. We did it at Criteria down in Miami. He shows up with a cassette of Pyromania before it came out, and he goes,
Do this.
he goes, I want you to do this is a new Def record. He puts that in, and it's just a big rock record.
Yeah.
And we just did this little pop record. And we all just looked at each other, and we all knew, like, from that point, that our record was doomed.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of sad that you guys had like 3 records in your already in your catalog before you actually got that notoriety. That y'all probably should have got three albums earlier. So.
Yeah, I know. Well, I know. We were timing.
Yeah, yeah.
It just didn't quite line up.
Well, I mean, the funny thing is like, it seems to us that like there's so much of a predatory nature of all the labels back then, because I mean, you guys were still, new, more or less, still early on in your career. I mean, like you said, it was a learning experience. You didn't really know what to expect, and I think you hear all these stories about all these bands that went through the same thing. We talked to Nige Rocket from Onslaught a couple of weeks ago, and he said the same thing that they went through with some of the, like, one of the first contracts that they went through. And I think these labels, they just had this predatory nature about them back then, with a lot of the bands that because they were young, didn't really have experience on that side of the business, and they were like, we got these guys where we want them. We'll throw a little bit of money at them, and then just tell them this is we'll throw them a little bit of a bone, be like, we like you, and we'll sign you, we'll give you money, and let you make your own music, and then like you get a taste of that, and they wrangle you in, and they're like, all right, now that we got you, here's what you really signed. So I mean, it just sounds like that went on so much back then.
Yeah, it depends on the band. Some bands are good at resisting that stuff, and others aren't. And it's funny you mentioned throw a little bit of money at you. They didn't throw money at you.
He's like, I wish they did. They didn't.
But we signed. The deal we signed was for 1 record with an option for 7 more. And they kept giving up the option.
Okay.
So, they must have known they had something.
Yeah.
We could wait for something.
See, at that point, they were just stringing you along, though.
I guess.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. I mean, that's kind of how it sounds like that was what was happening to me.
I like this combination from the right company that we had. We just didn't have good page. So
I mean, that's
So has Kicks played their final show already?
yeah.
I thought they had already.
Yeah, 2023.
Okay. I know they were at the Metal in the Mountains, I think, one year up here, and I was like, man, I should have went to that. When I seen that announcement, like after that, I'm like, man, I wish I'd have went now, because we were talking about going and we didn't. And I was like, oh man, I should have went. Because I say this a lot, and I always say, if you got a band you want to see, you probably need to go see them, because especially from that era, because they're getting up there, and they got a life to live, besides rock and roll at some point. It's like the only good thing about being that you kind of already seen the world, so you're not trying to do that, I guess, at this point. But
like half the world.
So what is it like for Brian Forsyth life after Kicks? I guess just Rhino Bucket at this point, or
So far, that's Rhino Bucket doesn't really play that much. recently got a new booking agent. But, well, actually, not that recent. September. And we've been waiting all this time, and he's got us one gig. So
We've heard this before, too.
Yeah, we have heard of it. Yeah.
we might have to go with somebody else. But yeah, other than that, I mean, they're out in LA and I'm here.
Right.
Again, another rock artist living here.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I'm kind of open right now. Like,
Okay.
whatever comes
Chomping at the bit, I'm sure. I mean, it's like, I'm ready to go. Let's do this. I mean, because the career you had for somebody who, like it says on your bio, who just wanted to be a garbage man.
Right. Yeah, that actually blew my mind when I read that.
It says that on your bio, you wanted to be a garbage man.
Oh,
until the Beatles came along.
Yeah.
The funny thing is that every time I read that, I read it in. Have you seen Goodfellas? Seen that movie?
Yeah.
So, as long as far back as I can remember, I wanted to be a gangster. That's how I read that. But I mean, a lot of course, Beatles were before me, but still, the amount of people who picked up music because of them. Same thing with like the influence of Black Sabbath.
Yeah, every decade.
Yeah, there's always something.
Absolutely. Like I was born in the mid-50s, so by the time the 60s came around,
Right.
I started hearing music and then Beatles. Like nothing that I ever heard.
Right.
But it was cool growing up in that era because it was like the infancy of rock and roll, and it just kept progressing through my teenage years. So I got into like my early influences are like Chuck Berry, like basic rock and roll.
Yeah.
And then there's Scream, and there's Hendrix and all the brothers.
Yeah, so
Skinner.
Yeah, so I mean, you got to see everything when it was new. You got to experience every evolution and everything that was new.
I got to hear all the classics when they were top 40.
Right? Yeah.
When they were new. Yeah. I guess this is a question I don't get to ask a lot. Have you ever gotten to play with a band and they've actually said you were their influence in playing?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean that's a cool thing because I don't think many people get to. I don't think many people get to do that. It's like
yeah,
play with me and be like,
it's cool. I think I'm living. I got to live my dream.
Right.
So, I'll go see like somebody like a guitar player or something I really like, and I'll leave the show like, totally inspired. And then when I hear that from somebody else that I inspired them, I say,
that's really cool. Yeah.
That's gotta be awesome because we were one of our interviews this morning, and you may have seen him around today, but there's a 15-year-old kid walking around here. His name's Peyton, and I mean this kid was influenced. He's 2025. He's 15 years old. He was influenced by the
Randy Rhoads.
His influenced by the 70s, 80s, and I mean those are the foundations of the music that he's playing now. Kid's 15 years old, listening to the stuff that you were around for, that we grew up on, and all that stuff. So I mean, it's awesome to see both ends of it at this point. I mean, not that you're at the end of your career or anything, but this kid is just starting his. So it's cool to see that, and it's cool to see that the same music, like I said, that we grew up on, that you played, that we listened to. There's still people that it resonates with, and then that it's being picked up, and that's the influence and the impetus for them to start playing the instrument. I think it's fantastic.
It is great to hear. So, I guess one more thing, I kind of wanted to bring this up because it's kind of an odd thing to happen to anybody was the kind of carbon monoxide stroke thing. So I think a lot of people don't realize how important that is to like check your alarms and all that stuff. I guess. I mean, is that actually what they actually stemmed it back to? Was the carbon monoxide? Or?
It's kind of a mystery because it's unhealthy.
Right. I mean, you sound like nothing ever happened to you, honestly. I mean, that's why I was like, wow, this guy really had a stroke? No way.
Well, you should have heard me that first day.
Oh, yeah. Well, okay. Well, yeah.
I know. I take care of myself. I I exercise, I work out every day, and for that to happen, I think it was a combination of things. The carbon monoxide sort of set it off.
Gotcha.
It caused my blood pressure to skyrocket. Sure. And I think it's something, I don't want to sound like a conspiracy
No, by all means.
Suspicions of the vaccines and the COVID thing.
Okay.
And booster shot in particular, because I remember just before, especially for a band like Kicks, I couldn't do the cruise without getting the vaccine, right? And then I need to get a booster shot to go around a bucket over to Europe.
Yep.
And right after that booster shot, I went through heart palpitations,
Sure, yeah.
So then it went away, and I thought I was okay. And I think carbon monoxide was, maybe there was a blood clot hiding somewhere.
Could have been, yeah.
Yeah, it could have been. It doesn't sound.
So, I worked in pharmacy for 22 years. I'll tell you that was BS. They should have never released a vaccine because my health background always tells you anything that would be. I've always seen vaccines that go through 12 to 18 months of progress before they get released. And for them to say, 4 months is good, no way. I told everybody, do not take this. Do not. But, people's going to do what they want to do. I mean, you can warn them, but.
Another bad thing was I got the Johnson & Johnson one.
Oh, the bad one I got recalled, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Which that kind of worries me too, because my daughter actually, that's the one I think she did. And I'm just like, every day I'm just like, man, I hope you're all right. So, but yeah, like I said, you're not a conspiracy theorist at all. I think them forcing people to do that was wrong too. Because if you want to go over here, you do that. It's kind of like and to me, honestly, to see so many medical professionals say, so many medical professionals say, oh, well, you need to do this and you need to do that, whenever they're actually the ones that should be telling you the truth about what's going on. Like, yeah, I probably wouldn't do that. Yeah. That's very, very warranted, I would think, to do that. Yeah. You go through that. Like I said, I didn't take anything. None of my family did because they were calling me, asking me because they knew I worked in a farm. Hey, would you take it? Like, hell no. Do not take that. So it was. It's definitely a subject that's controversial for sure. But I don't think you were wrong at all to think that. I honestly think if you took it that early on, probably very well could have been involved.
Yeah, no, it doesn't sound tinfoil hat or anything. I've never spent one. No, it doesn't sound bad and far-fetched at all. But to think that you're probably going to do it.
Are they? I will say this: are they safer now? Absolutely, because they went through that trial already and know what they can and can't.
We're talking 5 years later.
Yeah, well, yeah. So, they're a lot safer now than they were 5 years ago.
Yeah. No, I don't think you're not like you say, you felt it. You lived it.
Right.
The timeline.
I don't know. I thought they were coming to get you. Coming to take you away.
I think I got some free time after this.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. So I think we do too for a minute or two. We're good till 3? So, cool deal.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, you're good. We're good if you're good. So as far as like the other members of the band and Kicks, did any of them still like trying to do anything, or they just retire? I know Steve pretty much retired. So. Yeah. Well, I mean, you think about you guys toured for 40 plus years. I mean, that's kind of like, that's a lot. Think about
it. He's starting to have voice problems.
Right.
That dropped his feet. So he decided to stop while we were still up there.
Right. Go out on your own terms.
Just about to say it.
As far as like, I think he's the only one that's actually retired.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
He just stays in his easy chair. But
earned it.
Well, yeah.
Absolutely.
Jimmy's a drummer. Oh, he was struggling to tell his studio. He's he just sort of there's a group of guys in the area that usually get together and do recording for recordings. But Ronnie's got his own.
That's Youngkins, I guess. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, he's got blues.
Oh, okay.
Some people, I mean, there are people who like say, someone wants to retire, sit in a chair the rest of their life, and they earn it. Some people, they just don't want to.
Yeah, I know my motto is you can't retire.
Well, what is that thing? You don't stop playing because you got old. You get old because you stop playing.
Yeah, true.
That's probably true.
So the final concert was at the Meriwether Post Pavilion in Maryland. Was there like any kind of significance to that, or?
Well, yeah, because it's kind of our home area.
Okay.
And we did it every year. So it's one thing when you're on festivals, there's always crowds all the way there. Oh, yeah, you don't realize how many actual guests.
Sure.
So we did that.
Nice.
Just our fans.
That's
And it was too bad.
right. Yeah. But I mean, what a way to go out, though.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, what a way to go out. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, nothing is ever going to go perfect. It's like, if it wouldn't have been raining, somebody's guitar would. If it wouldn't have been that, somebody's microphone would.
I think it's just like, I hate to see any band break up or
Yeah.
retire or whatever, but I think it's good that Steve kind of seen, I can't perform the way I want to perform for my fans, so why am I going to play? Because some people would just be selfish to keep doing it. I mean, so it's really good that he's putting the fans first. And not really like, it kind of worked out both ways, I guess, but it's kind of like, I'm done, because I don't want to do this to the fans. So it's kind of a win-win, I think, for him.
Yeah.
As far as like,
Another thing that happened was Jimmy had his heart attack.
right.
So Jimmy was actually going to retire first. Because he was at the point like he could still play drums, but he couldn't move back on vocals because that caused his heart rate to go down. So his wife was worried she was out of town to do a gig or something. She was sitting and was worried that so that's where Stevie at that time, that was September 2023. And we actually gigs booked up to the spring of the next year, which was
So I want to say that after 40 plus years, I know you got probably a good rose story or two in your back pocket that kind of sticks with you throughout all this. So.
There's a bunch of
Especially, like I say, especially traveling all over the world, different cultures, just seeing things you don't see anymore. You don't imagine. I've only been out of this country once, and it's to Canada. Because and that was back when you could just, because I'm from Michigan, so I mean, you could literally, when I was a kid, you could just go. You could just go. When you go to Canada for a day, you could just go. Now you have to have a passport. But that's the only foreign country I've been to. Like just getting on a plane and just going to other places. you don't speak the language, and sometimes you may not know what the food is. I mean,
Yeah.
just experiencing that, let alone getting to experience another culture and seeing the fans in other countries react to it. Even if they don't like speak your language on a day-to-day basis, they know the lyrics to your songs. You're like, this the only English you know. That's weird. You know what I mean? So,
But most countries speak English.
I know,
Right.
I know they do, but
Yeah, it's crazy because America, like I don't speak English.
same.
Like I go to France and I can't speak there. I can order coffee. But easily find out how to order
Well, I mean
coffee.
that's important. That's important.
But every once in a while you go to some obscure place. Like first time we kicked went to Japan. They all speak English. But then we went to a school town north of Tokyo. We speak English and we were trying to communicate. It's like you don't know this. You talk, I talk English, they talk Spanish.
And then you just get a blank look.
Luckily, the restaurants they have a little display, plastic display of what the food was.
Okay.
The counter, so we just go point, just point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they saw you walk in. They're like, okay, this is gonna be weird. Yes, I want that.
Yeah, when you find a place where they don't speak any kind of English, it's a little. It's almost like you almost start comparing.
Right. Yeah.
There was a couple places in Germany like that. France, they don't speak English, not because they don't know how.
Because they don't want to.
Yeah,
Because you're in their
they
country.
just
Yeah.
speak French.
That's
They
just
expect
being
you to understand.
stubborn, I guess.
Yeah, well, like I said, you're in their country. You're
Right.
coming here.
Well, I mean, that's kind of like I always say that about people who come here. And like I said, I'm in the pharmacy, so I deal with all these people, and I'm just like, what you just said.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you come over here, you probably should learn our language, at least enough to get by.
Do
Like,
business.
Yeah, like
especially when you're talking to somebody that's like Dylan, I'm in control of your health right now. So it's kind of like, well, I need to communicate. But I do find something like really crazy is like the single "Don't Close Your Eyes" was almost not released, is that right? Which would have been. I always think when I was thinking, I said that's a good what if. Because what if that had not been released? Where would Kicks be right now? It's kind of like it's really something to think about because I think that was, like I said, that's one of y'all's biggest hits, of course.
While we were around, that went gold. That record.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like I actually have that cassette at home. So
It's always interesting to look back at something like that because a song that is so well received and potentially becomes synonymous with a band. Not obviously that's not the only song. I mean, it's one of the songs that people think of when they hear Kicks, but a song that's like stood the test of time and like you said done so well. To hear that back in when this was the same thing when we were talking to Brian Snigel, because he's the one who put Metallica on the Massacre thing in '82. You have no idea. At 80 someone at the time, all this stuff is new. You don't know what it's going to do all those years later. So I mean, at the time, it was just like maybe we don't want a ballad on this album. And then you leave it off, and then you don't know what you're actually. At the time, you have no clue.
yeah,
And then you move forward to 2025. Like you said, you got a song that's an iconic.
well, I mean,
You never know what is and isn't going to turn into something.
You don't. That's the thing is like we talked about this before too. Is I've heard a lot of like records, and I'm just like, why didn't I not release that as a single? It's like you'll hear that a lot. I'm like, man, that's like. If we were talking to a band a while back, I said, "Oh, what's your favorite track on the record?" And I was like, "Well, this one." He's like, "That's like the least favorite one we get. Nobody likes that song." I'm like, "Why?"
You never know. You never know what's going to resonate.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I guess like you made it when you do all that, and you come back with the Can't Stop the Show deal, and you go to #1. So it's kind of like so it's kind of like you definitely concreted a foundation fan base.
Oh, and with the internet, with the resurgence, we got back together. Yeah, the internet just made it so weird.
Like I said, the internet's we gripe about it a lot, but it's definitely like we couldn't do what we do without the internet. So it's kind of
it can be a necessary double-edged sword, whatever euphemism or figure of speech you want to use for it. I mean, it helps, it hurts, it's whatever. It's whatever. Everything that we do on the show helps us, but like someone get around like releasing new music, put out a video, avoid the comments.
Yeah, right.
You don't want to know.
They can watch videos,
Yeah, dragging the needle back and forth, sure.
Yeah.
Probably wore a new groove in the record. Why does it skip at 4 minutes and 12 seconds every time?
I think a lot of bands would probably, like nowadays that are new, would probably like to go back to the 80s where they could actually get paid for what they were doing, because now with the existence of apps and stuff, it's not, the royalties aren't as well as they were back in the day. So.
I think those BMI statements, and you see Spotify, it'll say something like 17,000 plays, and then you look at this 0.00.
God, that is. How is that not true?
Yeah, it's definitely criminal. Like, I noticed like a lot of not to get into government stuff, but I noticed they kind of like pushing stuff forward for ticket sales and stuff. Now they need to start pushing for that too. I think that's just. Well, I mean, if you got somebody that's owning a company making millions of dollars, then he can afford to pay you more than 7 cents or 0.007 cents.
Not even a full penny. Not even a full penny.
Yeah, you got to play what 100. Or no, it's 100,000 or something to get, $1 or something. Like it seems like about what it is, somewhere around in there. I'm just like, this is unreal. If you sold 100,000 records, you'd be in probably pretty good shape, or you just sold the CDs or albums or whatever.
Yeah, everything's different than it used to be. Like nowadays they consider records 500,000, and nowadays like you sell 20,000, it's good.
I know what the RIAA does. They have a certain formula, because we still, that's one of the things we talk about on the show. This band got a gold record in the United States. This single went gold. And I think, if I remember correctly, the RIAA counts like 1,500 streams, because it used to be just straight album sales. The easiest thing to track. Yeah, the easiest thing to track, and they still count that. But in order to get because I think it's 1,500. I think about 1,500 streams of an album equals one physical sale. There's like a convoluted equation that they're using now to try to make that gold and platinum certification. They're still awarding those. 1,000,000 and 500,000 is still the benchmarks for both of them, but it doesn't go like your album sales. Unfortunately, it's not the thing that it used to be. So streams and like video plays and stuff like that, they've thrown that big version now. I can't remember it. I don't remember the exact this and this. It's like an X, Y, and Z kind of thing. So they do have it. So they do still award those, but it's not straight album sales, because it was cut and dry back then. Okay, we sold 1 million records or CDs or whatever it was, physical copies of our album. It was so much easier back then, of course. But,
there was always a weirdness on the record.
Yeah.
You only get this amount for each sale. And then they count in all those returns and all that.
Yeah.
You know, the band is the one that always
Yeah,
charge back.
yeah, you guys were always at the bottom of the expense report. I don't doubt that shit at all. I don't doubt that in the least.
It's ridiculous. Like we keep,
Right.
well, I mean, Lars tried to warn them.
He did. Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
All right, Brian. Looks like we got another one coming up ourselves. So, it was
Yeah,
really
thank
good
you.
talking to you,
Thank
man.
you.
I love the, like I said, I love kids growing up. I was like my favorites. Like I said, I remember like when Headbangers Ball, Cold Blood came on. I was like, oh, man, these guys are awesome. Of course, got you guys for a few more albums there. I think Show Business and all that. I think I have those records as well. So yeah, it's a real big part of my childhood. So it's really an honor to sit down and like talk to you. So,
You definitely got one hell of a legacy cemented.
for sure.
No one can take it away now. Everything you've been through, it's there. No one can argue with it. It's there for eternity. That's the best thing about it.
How about this for me? Just anywhere. Should have did this last time we were here. I don't know why.
It was our first time.
Yeah, we weren't thinking about that. So.
We're trying to make sure that all the
Appreciate it so much, man. Hopefully you get some Rondo bucket material going and continue on and playing.
The last record was 2017, so it's about time.
Oh yeah, it's about time. Yeah. Like I said, you get to a certain age, you can't wait too long.
Great meeting you.
Brian Forsyth.
Yes.
Guitars for Kicks. Rondo bucket. So if you don't know who Kicks are, kids, do some research. And they grew up in, like I said, they were one of those bands I think that were kind of in the hair metal thing, but I don't know if I would actually like they were hair. You know what I'm saying?
No,
like,
they were they were lumped in, but they were more of an outlier. I mean, they were kind of in that era, but they were heavier.
I think so.
They were
yeah.
heavier.
And then the sad part is like I said, they were 3 albums in before anybody knew who they were. So,
Well, I mean, that's true.
so their earlier stuff was even, more heavier than what they were doing at that time. So,
Yeah, but I mean, it is.
so next up, we're gonna have a familiar face on here. So, hopefully you guys are ready for that.
It actually has been kind of cool that there's been some of these little gaps in here.
Yeah,
Because
so we can actually get to talk to a little longer.
We got to chat a little longer with some folks, which is nice. It's 15 minutes with some of the people we've gotten to talk to. I mean, if we would have literally had to just keep Brian 15 minutes, I'd be like, so you were in Kicks, huh? Yeah, it's cool. Well, thanks for joining us. So, I mean, a guy like that who's had the career that he's had, for him to be able to sit with us a little longer than the 15 minutes we were alive was kind of nice. And that's another. It was cool of him to he wasn't looking at his watch. Or
Right, no, it
that,
was
so it's like, hey,
I
15
thought
minutes
actually,
and I'm out.
so sorry, people. We're actually, you might watch it. We're kind of confused because we see all these PAs walking around and we're like, okay, are they coming to get our guy? Like, what are they doing? It's like I thought the one was about to grab him and then they walked past us. So I was like, oh. And then he let us know that he had a few extra minutes. So that was cool.
Yes, I mean, they kind of share moments, drive around to different tables and all this stuff, and trying to keep things running smoothly. And they really do a good job keeping everything running smoothly. The woman who was showing Cheney Crab around me, she was hovering around and she did things right here. And she did like this. She was like 2 minutes. I said, I got you.
Guys are coming. I gave them a sign to wrap it up. So they'll be over next time. There's 2 tickets too.
Yeah, we're good. Next up, we're going to have Chris Kale, bassist for Figure Death Punch, and his his podcast partner, Craig Gass.
Weirdo and the weird.
Weirdo Pikes. We were told we can only talk about podcast info with those guys. Sorry. So sorry if you guys don't get a lot of 500 as much out of this interview. If it comes up, it comes up. But we definitely can't bring it up. I can actually move my
So they're basically sitting. This is the camera. This is the camera. They're pros. They'll figure it out.
Oh yeah. Maybe I don't know. It might work a little better. I don't know. If we ain't too close to that one, it kind of echoes. I think about that.
Maybe we do.
Should be fine. You'll know our next guest with this.
I just had a Rice Krispie treat, dude. I'm fucking sugared up and ready to fucking party.
You're the best.
Yeah.
How you doing, guys? It's the Iron Maiden over here.
Can we use these cans? Is that right?
Well, I mean, you don't
Yeah,
need to.
if
We
you
had them just in
We
case.
have the case. It's up to you. Just better with
I like it because when I do voices, I like to be able to hear myself. And try to.
Those may have a short. You can hear anything or not.
I don't hear anything at all. Am I supposed to be hearing anything?
Probably. It's one of those things where
Hey.
these are actually plugged straight into that laptop. You can use them.
All right.
Those are kind of, for some reason, they only work this way. I don't know.
We went with the tire run yesterday because we came in set up, we got everything set up. We got to the right yesterday. We were here in 2023. We were using our headphones.
Sweet spot.
Yeah.
We were using our headphones, but we couldn't fucking hear anything because everything over in the corner with the panel.
Oh, yeah.
Was,
Yeah, we were right next to that music stage over there.
Yeah.
We were trying to do ours earlier.
Right. Yeah.
Thank God for programs. Knocking it out.
I can hear myself very lowly on here. Like it's very. Yeah, I can really hear it.
Probably.
Is that the plus? Volume? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The helmet? Keep talking.
Keep going. More. Oh yeah, now it's coming up.
All right.
Dude,
Now,
there's such a delay that
Oh,
it's
okay.
like
I kind of figured it probably would be.
5 seconds.
Yeah, I kind of figured it would be.
All right, fuck it, let's do it.
That's
Yeah.
another reason why we said screw it.
Yeah.
Just talk to each other.
Yeah, we brought them, but yeah. So we're here with
Okay.
we're here with of course you could if you don't know this guy with a beard here, I don't know what you're doing here, but he's better known as the bassist, right? 500,
Yeah, you got it.
bassist for 500 minutes. Chris Kale. I should know this. I've seen y'all like a half a dozen times.
Very nice.
And then of course he's his podcast partner, comedian Craig Gass. Yeah, Canadian. That's what I said. Yeah, Canadian.
See a lot of those in this country?
Yeah. So I guess you guys probably get this question a lot. But how did this kind of come to fruition?
We've known each other. We're both drug addicts,
Oh, nice.
and we're both in recovery. I've been sober for 20 years. Chris for three and a half years.
Congratulations.
And we knew each other. I was friends with another guy in his band, if I figured out lunch. And then I met Chris through that other friend of mine, Jason. And then over the years, we would just hang out with each other from time to time. It was just super easy to get along with. Then when I saw him posting about his recovery, I was like, oh, dude. And I reached out to a person and I said, dude, I don't know if you know this about me, but I've been in recovery. And we started having these really intense conversations. We started to realize we have a lot in common. And we started hanging out all the time in Vegas, going to concerts together, comedy shows together. And we thought, man, we should do a podcast. And because these conversations are so fun, the people we know are so fun. We only put out 10 episodes, okay? And in 10 episodes, Chris's girlfriend dumped him. My girlfriend dumped me. Bert Kreischer had a full-blown intervention on a 15-year-old kid, the son of Dave Buckner from Papa Roach. And
20% of our episodes are about
horsecock. We have a guy
I've actually seen that.
Yeah, the horsecock guy, the legendary hardcore guy who I work on the Howard Stern show. I'm stand-up comedian, I work on the Howard Stern show. And about a year ago, Howard started playing this clip. I think Richard found it, and he said, "Hey man, you got to hear this speech. This guy's on stage. It's this hardcore show." And he goes, "When I was 15 years old, I used to have the worst fucking job in the world. I had to jack off horses." And the crowd's like, "What?" And then he starts telling the story about how he can jack off these horses and how he found out that he's getting paid $4 an hour, and people are paying $1 million a jar.
No shit, I know, right?
And then he goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, there's 3 types of people in this world." And you hear the guitar player going, he goes, "There's the man who owns the horses. There's the people who buy the horses. And then there's me, you. We jack off the horses." And people in the crowd go, "Wait, what? What the fuck?" Like, and people are like, "What?" So I showed him the clip for the first time, and that clip went crazy viral. It's got like almost 1 million views on Instagram right now. And the dude who gave the horse cock speech said, "Hey man, that was me." And I was like, "Can you come on?"
That's awesome. You actually got the guy that did it.
Yeah. There were so many people in the comments that were like, "Oh, you didn't tag the band. You didn't give them some press." I'm like, "Hold on a second. We're way ahead of you.
Yeah.
We're getting him on the pod. Yeah. We had him on there."
And the first thing he said was, "I'm not in that band anymore. I don't want to give them any press." I was like, "All right, fair enough." But yeah, the guy came on and explained the whole horsecock thing. So we've got about 20% of our episodes have to do with horsecock, and then we had the intervention.
20% more horsecock.
Yeah.
You guys haven't been doing this very long either, right?
No, we've only done 10 episodes so far, but we're already starting to build an audience. Beardo and Weirdo on all the major podcast platforms and on YouTube, and it's gotten surprisingly emotional because shit's happened in our lives that we didn't expect to happen. Neither of us wanted to lose our girlfriend, so that started.
Looking back now, though,
You might be better off.
Bullet dodge.
Bullet dodge, yeah.
Bullet dodge, yeah.
not for him, for me.
Yeah, not for me. Yeah, I'm still literally today thinking like I went to the bathroom for like 3 minutes, and while I was in there, I was like, "God damn, am I doing the right thing?" I'm still struggling with the idea of like, should I be fighting for this? I don't know what I'm doing here, but yeah. So the episodes have been like, it's weird. It's been like real intense conversation. At one point, Chris actually cried on the episode, which nobody saw coming. Yeah. I mean, it's intense. It's intense.
Yeah.
Now, in the middle of it, it's a lot of fun conversations. We're laughing because Chris started doing stand-up. I met him. When I say stand-up, like, he's not just fucking around. Like, he's literally going up a couple times a week. He's open mics. We're supposed to be getting very reminiscent to me of Theo Vaughn. Theo Vaughn started showing up at comedy clubs I started seeing Theo Vaughn showing up at all of the blacks. So it was like 15, 20 years ago. And he put the work in. He brings everything. So I really admire that. But we both have a lot of musician friends, comedian friends.
That makes sense.
I'm the only comedian that opened the System of a Down, Motley Crue, and Corey Taylor, and
You were a tour manager for a while.
Yeah. I opened for Pantera last summer and gave a speech on stage that went viral for all the wrong reasons. I'm too much of a pussy to say that I'm a comedian when I open for these bands, because I know, like, I don't even want to see a comedian open for Metallica. You know what I mean? When I go to a show, it's like, I mean, before I walked on stage for the first band, which was Metallica that I opened for, it just hit me like, everyone in this room's on coke. Like, what am I doing here, man? Why am I trying to do this? And I came up with this idea, which was go on stage and go, "Good evening, my name is Craig. I'm Metallica's tour manager." band has some very important announcements, and I just make up a bunch of cool shit.
Yeah.
That's not true.
Right.
I get you to listen.
Right.
And then I can start telling jokes. You start laughing because you think I'm actually part of the show.
Part of the show.
And when I did Pantera, I said, you may have heard some rumors. And it's true. We are recording our first ever live album. It's like, and then all these metal websites started reporting. Pantera is recording a live album according to the employee of the band. And
Singing
people,
an anonymous voice.
Yeah, people
God.
everywhere started shitting
That's
on the
hilarious.
employee, like, fuck that employee, he's a dick. And because I was anonymous, I started going to all these pages and commenting and shitting on myself. Going, that guy's a fucking asshole.
I started quoting my material. I go, why do you even bring up the size of Zach Wild's genitalia? What does that have to do with anything? And then Pantera, after a week of people getting more and more upset, Pantera put out a statement and said, hey, no, we're not recording a live album. It was just a joke from our good buddy Craig Gass and And they tagged me and everything. And I'm like, oh shit.
Now everybody knows who you
And
are.
Mom came to me and I was like, holy shit.
Dude, it was a laugh, man. It was a laugh, but
I love I got the actual shirt for that.
yeah, dude, it's
my part here.
Yeah.
I love it.
I love it.
Yeah, dude,
it's,
in 10 episodes that have been released already, we come in the studio, had fun, just a lot of unexpected shit already happened from our Canadian friends and our music friends.
A lot of that has to do with we are both covering addicts.
Right.
So we're highlighting life trauma and showing that those who all have trauma, but no one was right to the bottle, right to the line, right to the normal, everything else. You can go through all that. I mean, and really talk about trying to work through stuff all the time. Being real honest, real vulnerable, real authentic. With our audience, I think, we've got MMA fighters, you know, all these tough guys that are out there. And I clearly look like I'm a tough guy, but I'm also very open and honest. And I want to be able to show that you can be this tough guy and still talk about what I'm going to do. Get things down. It's okay to talk about it. We're going to drive ourselves crazy. This was bad.
Well, it's actually a part of gaining strength is to learn that you can actually, open yourself up.
Absolutely.
I mean, it takes time for everybody. No one has the same amount of time to hard ready. So it comes in different intervals for everybody. It doesn't make you weak. Like you just said, you ride on the podcast.
Yeah.
It doesn't make you whatever you want, whatever name you want to use. It doesn't make you a bitch. It doesn't make you a pussy.
Yeah.
Anything else. That mentality's got to go away.
Also, it's changed in my lifetime the attitude towards drug dependency and alcoholism. When I was a kid, the idea of a rehab was there was always that rehab quitter. And as we've gotten older, more and more honest conversations made it into mainstream like pop culture stuff. There's been a lot of documentaries and TV shows dedicated to people trying to get their lives back together, and people become more honest about recovery. And I mean that moment that Chris cried is something that we both have in common. We both lost our moms, and so he was talking about his mom. The anniversary of his mom didn't come up with that. And that's when he got caught, and I could see him choking up, and I was like, "Oh shit!" I had to interrupt him. I was like, "All right."
Gotta get them clicks,
Just like this guy, when my girlfriend dumped me, she's a famous tattoo artist, and she made our logo. We have this really cool logo for the Beardo and Weirdo. And
So the reenactors?
I go, dude, you need to pick up the phone, man.
Dude, I was like going through this, like by myself. So this new thing happened.
I know. I get it, but listen, when your friend calls you, you need to pick up the phone.
No, man, I'm going through way too much stuff. I didn't have time. I don't have to get in the resilience reservoir right now to be able to deal with this. I like to hide. You know that.
Okay, well, you need to know something. When I was trying to reach you, I was in Hawaii with my girlfriend, where my girlfriend broke up with me. And you wouldn't know it. Yes.
Are you bullshitting me?
Not bullshitting you.
For real.
For real.
Come on.
It's true.
Do we still get the
That's
That's
how
how
long.
long. 20 fucking seconds.
And he said, "Can we keep the logo?" It didn't even at the moment. I think I smiled and it just went over my head. But I went back to review it to pull out clips, and I go, "You fucking asshole!" And I pulled the clip, and on the episode with the horsecock guy, horsecock number 2, we brought in the horsecock guy, and I go, "Mr. Horsecock, I just need to talk to my friend for a second before we get to you." And before we got into all the horsecock stuff, I played him the clip. I said, "How long do you think it took you before you went from sympathy to hey, what about our look?" And it was 20 seconds. All right, I know we gotta go. Sorry, we're taking it.
No, you're fine. You're good.
Thanks for having us on.
We can talk about horsecock all day.
You guys sign this for me?
Yeah, absolutely. Weirdo.
We were told we can't ask Five Finger Death Punch questions, so I'm gonna have to catch him at some point and tell a story.
Who's that?
I said we were told we couldn't ask Five Finger Death Punch questions, so I actually want to tell you a story. Whatever. You're good.
Yeah, I don't mind. Are we going right to another thing?
Yeah, we got another one.
Okay.
So we were at.
There we go.
We were at. I want to say.
Hold on.
I think it was. This is a reverse thing. We usually ask the bands for stories, so I'm telling stories. So we were at the Blue Ridge Festival, I think. In Virginia. Yeah, so Ivan had called up some military personnel for one of the songs. Yeah. I think y'all were doing that one. So he was called up and somebody was blocking one of the women. He got pissed. He was just like, "Hey, you let her through." He said, "This is a new administration. Nobody gets left behind." I was like, "Oh shit!" Oh yeah. So my wife's automatically go, "I want out of here. I'm scared." So what? Like, you know what I mean? Conservatives are here. It's like, I was like, I said, obviously, you've been a Five Finger Death Punch for a good 12 years. You should know this one now.
Yeah,
they are military based.
Yeah.
They love the military.
Yeah, it's one of those things like I didn't realize how much of an effect and how much the military was into Five Finger Death Punch. And then I saw a picture from overseas. There was 2 tanks facing each other. On one of it said Five Finger, the other one said Death Punch. I was like, nice. I think they like this.
Yeah, I would think so.
My wife's a former active duty Marine.
Okay.
Female and at the time she was like 5'5",
A little Spitfire too, I'm sure.
She's still that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
She's 5'5", buckle 5 with all of this shit on. She's an MVP for the fucking Marine.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, so I call her my unicorn.
There we go.
So I mean, she loves it.
Very cool.
Are you guys based in Nashville now? Or?
No, I live in Las Vegas. I grew up in Kentucky.
Okay, that's what I thought. I thought you were close by. Yeah.
See that guy right there?
I mean, Red Michigan.
Yeah.
But ever since Vegas, they've kind of like
Very nice. Yeah, I mean, a wonderful story coming out of the gates, right into the Stanley Cup playoffs. And I got that in the first season.
I'm happy that they won.
Oh yeah.
Especially when they take out teams like Colorado and Dallas. Oh yeah, that's exactly. That's super.
Big friends with I guess everyone he's a bruiser.
Yeah, well, that's what he was telling me. He said he was newly sober. He's been sober for a couple of years.
Yes. Go straight. There you go.
Yeah, Mac. Is that the thing? He went through some of his own. Well, you know, I mean, we start following the podcast. Let's show up for the podcast. Show up for the podcast and stick around the whole.
That's right. Yeah, that's weirdo and the weirdo. Like, I mean, you're going to get a lot more metal and comedy from them than you do us. I mean, that's, I'm just funny compared to him. So, oh man, great stuff, man. Weirdo and weirdo. Check them out.
if and when we come back, I guess I'm gonna buy my another thing.
Well, so this is the thing. I've done I've seen wrestling shows in this building, and I know they have wheelchairs in this.
Right.
I was in a ring. I was watching a Ring of Honor show in this building with good 500 plus people.
Yeah.
So you at least got that many chairs. So
Of course.
you know, I don't know. But anyway,
And that was
freaking awesome. That was fun. That was funny. I loved them. I know them all the time.
I mean, this is been. I had a feeling that we were going to laugh.
Oh yeah.
I didn't realize this.
I didn't know that Chris had got into comedy too. That's pretty good. That's pretty cool. And it's crazy because that's something I love. Like it sounds crazy because everybody knows. We talked about it on the show that my background was wrestling, pro wrestling before I got into this and everything. Just to say this, like when you're going into a different audience like that, it's hard to transition. Like I've tried to and I got jokes written out from stand-up comedy, but I've never gotten up the nerve to go and do it. So it's kind of like just how the courage to do something like that's pretty awesome.
Right, because it's just you. You are up there.
Yeah, you don't have, I don't have you to bail me out like I'm doing this podcast. So
Well, and vice versa.
It's definitely a issue when you're going out of your comfort zone. Obviously, it's not something you just jump into. You got to ease your way into that.
Yeah, because I mean, like with Chris getting there on stage as a part of an ensemble in a band, it's one thing. Especially since he's over there playing bass. More often than not, everyone's focused on Ivan and Zoltan and all that other good stuff. So.
They actually took a bunch of those. Oh yeah, somebody shit in the toilet.
Gross.
That was
It's just to have that break at 3:40. Can you put now together interview full of podcasts?
Yep. Sure. Bring them on.
Looks like our interviews is going to get moved up a little bit. It's supposed to be at 3:40. 40 is like 18 minutes away. Hey, Roy.
How you doing, man? Good.
See you guys.
Thanks for joining us.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure.
We love these shows because we get into some people that's been around for years and get a little insight on stuff.
That is me. I've definitely been around for years. That's for sure.
We just got to talk about Brian Forsyth too. So
I got to play with him last night at the Rare Hair Show.
Yeah, we missed it.
We missed. Oh man, we did Mississippi Queen last night. Me and Brian, and I tore the house down. I did Jane by Jefferson Starship, and everybody freaked the fuck out.
Yeah, so if you don't know, we're with Roy Cathy. I guess probably a lot of people may know him from Cold Sweat, right?
Yes, sir.
Of course, currently with the Fifth.
With the Fifth, yes.
And it's not. They didn't get that from a whiskey bottle. I promise. They.
Well.
Depends on who you're asking.
Who you ask?
Right.
So I guess like my question was going to be like, what do you think the differences between Cold Sweat and the Fifth as far as musically would be?
Well, I think Cold Sweat is definitely more in the vein of like the straight up 80s commercial hard rock sound, the polished White Snake kind of vibe. The Fifth is much more of a modern rock with 80s influences.
Gotcha, okay.
I would like to kind of think that the Fifth is if Skid Row and Shinedown had an alien sex baby. That is basically what people.
I'm in just for that.
Yeah.
Like,
So that's
alien sex.
alien sex.
so basically, the Fifth is we're an 80s influenced band, but we try and keep it on the modern Tim. We don't want to have a dated sound,
Right.
even though we're not afraid to, having 80s vibes.
To show where you came from.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, absolutely nothing wrong with that. We were talking into a local band I got to see Thursday night at the Rocket Festival over there at McAllen. And Lost Circus, that's exactly kind of what they do. They've been around a while, but you know where they've been. But they're also showing you what they can do. So, I really like bands that will do that.
Yeah.
Right.
This is what I mean. This is where kind of what got us started. But I mean, we're also not ignoring the fact that it's 2025 or 2020.
Right. And with the fit, we were lucky enough. Our new record, We Are One, was recorded at Shinedown's recording studio in Charleston, South Carolina. So our producer Chris McClernand, who is also my bass player in Cold Sweat, he was also in Saigon Kick. He's been living down in Charleston for many years, and he's gotten good friends with Eric Bass, the bass player. He's actually been in that studio the last 4 Shinedown records, watching them write and record there, and kind of like the eye on the wall. So when he took on the 5th project, it was his idea to bring us in. And luckily enough, his relationship with Eric Bass was like, bring the guys in. So, you can imagine how we felt. I mean, we can't get much bigger than Shinedown. They're probably the biggest modern rock band out there right now. So to be able to go there, and we're like the second band outside of Shinedown that's even stepped foot in studio. It was like walking on sacred ground. Going a facility that wrote so many, sold so many records, on modern rock songs, So we knew we had to step up our game when we went in there, and I really think that we accomplished that.
I think what's so cool, like, a lot of people don't realize about Shinedown. I know, like, I've seen them a bunch of times. So I think they're one of those bands that know how to play our market, because they put out the songs that can get radio airplay, but when you see them live, they hardly ever play those songs. It's kind of like, wow, they'll play 45,
right,
some of the older stuff like that. They got them to the dance, but a lot of those older stuff you don't hear. Like, I remember, like, they play Cut the Cord, like Enemies, all that stuff like back to back to back. When I see them, I was like, wow, this is crazy. Like, this is not what that's not what I was expecting when I first seen them.
Yeah.
A little bit of, transition. Mostly just rocking the face off.
Yeah, Shinedown's a great live band, and they write great songs, and they still put on a great live show. That's kind of where we want to be. We're the same type of band. And I'm lucky to play with guys that everybody in the band sings. Everybody in the band is rock stars in their own right. I'm old school. I'm a guy that comes from the old school Van Halen, old school Motley Crue, to where, back in the day, you could love a band, but everybody had that favorite member. You know what I mean? Oh, I love Nikki Sixx, or oh man, I love Tommy Lee. That's kind of what I wanted to bring with the 5th. I wanted everybody to be able to collectively stand together, but individually stand on their own.
Right. So so when you said, are you guys working on a new record now?
No, but the new record comes out on RFK Media May the 2nd.
Okay.
We just released our new single, Blind, and it's already made it on the Apple Music new rock chart. So we're really excited about that. And, it's great having Ron Keel, who's the president of the label. We were the first band that was signed to RFK when he kicked the label off. We were the first band that was signed. No pressure.
Yeah, right.
But it was also great because Ron is still a performer. He's still writing. He's still out there. And to be able to have somebody that is not just some corporate suit that's in an office somewhere. Ron knows where we're at. He knows
Somebody's been there and done it.
He's lived a life, and it was never, hey, when's it going to be finished? When's the record done? What's going on? Right, yeah. Ron was always like, they'll get it finished. They'll get it done. He let us very organically finish it up, write the record, finish writing it, record it, because we wanted to make sure that this was the best that we could put out. And I really think this new record is it's all filler, no filler. There's 12 songs on it. It's one of those CDs that you can put in your player and go do a road trip, and you're not going to be skipping songs.
Nice.
You know, because there's way too many bands, way too many releases out there where they got a single, maybe 2 other good songs, and the rest of it is.
We were just talking about that. It was like how some bands seem like they have like, well, we're going to put a 12-song album together. They only have 10 songs that they actually like.
Right.
Like, and we just throw another 2 on there.
Right.
Like,
we really put our heart and soul into every one of these songs, and I think you can tell, you know. And for us, and especially for me, I'm still a fan.
Yeah.
I'm still that kid that when he would get a new album or CD or whatever, I would open it up and look at the liner notes.
I still like that.
Yeah, I
You know, the pictures, where do they record it at? You know, where can I see the lyrics? You know, what's their website address? You know, I mean, we wanted to make a record that from beginning to end was sonically good, the songs are good, but not only that, packaging looks good, the photos look good, the artwork looks good. Because if people are going to spend their money on what you're putting out, I believe that it should be the absolute best that you could give them.
Yeah.
And I'm not in this to take people's money. I'm in this to write songs that stick with people, you know. And I've been lucky enough, you know, the 5th catalog, we've written some great songs, and I've had people come up to me, like one of the releases, we have a song called One More Day, which is a song that I wrote about my father when he passed away and how I dealt with it. And whenever you have fans come up to you and go, hey, you know, I just want you to know that song One More Day, it really helped me get through the death of my mother, or helped me get through the death of my best friend. You know, and when you're writing stuff like that, that's actually touching people's lives, that is what good art is supposed to be. That's what good rock and roll is supposed to be. That's what good music is supposed to be. It's supposed to touch people's souls. It's supposed to make an indention in their lives. And it's supposed to be that bridge to help them get through the good times and the bad times.
You say that, and it brings me back to we just seen Nothing More a little while back. I don't know if you know who they are.
Oh, God, amazing fan.
Yeah,
Oh, God,
Johnny's
so
great.
amazing.
But they played 2 songs. They played Jenny, of course, and you can look around and you can see tears in a lot of people's eyes in the crowd because they felt what that song was going through, and they probably been through it.
Right.
You know, the same thing with like, crap, what's the one? I just went blank. It's the. Yeah, I hate when that happens. It's like, oh, I just went blank. It's the.
All that weed I smoked in high school started to come back. Oh, God.
It was I'm trying to look it up here, see if I can find it real quick. Fade In, Fade Out, like that song.
Yeah.
Because it goes through like him losing a parent, kind of.
Yeah.
Not him. I don't know if he really did that, but that's kind of
What's
what
that other one where he's talking about walking into his mother's hospital room?
Oh yeah, I don't know that one.
Yeah, it's on the same one that Ballast is on.
Oh, okay, so it's off the first record.
It's off the first record. Pull that one up and name those songs off real quick.
Do you really want it? The Big Divide, Let Them Burn, Ripping Me Apart, Don't Stop, Funny Little Creatures, Respect, Respond, Great Divorce, Still in Love, All Together.
There's one on
the Go to War song about him, and of course it's now X, which kind of makes sense when you listen to the song. But there was 18 tracks on that first record. There's a lot of intros and stuff in it, but
there's a song on there where
just say when, accept, disconnect, who we are.
He's talking about walking into his mother's hospital room and having to make the decision of disconnecting her from life support. And dude, that you can feel that emotion in that song. And that's what it's all about. If you can write something like that, that's a true art.
And there's another like we met Blacktop Mojo. I don't know if you know who those guys are, but they opened up a non-point here in town one time, and my wife loves those guys, and she was like had to go up and thank him because there was a song that resonated with her, and I think that's cool that you get to meet somebody and actually like, hey, you know, and I'm sure you guys, if somebody said like you just said earlier, that probably means a lot to you because you know what you're doing is meaning something.
Absolutely. So,
and it's just like. To me, I like to go to live shows mainly because I'd rather buy merch from you guys at the live show than order it from somewhere because I don't know how much you're getting off of it.
Right.
So it's like I'd rather just like I bought a book over there from those guys. This book.
Yeah,
I got it cheaper with them because it's coming from them. I'm not having to pay extra fees on Amazon or something for it.
Right.
So it's kind of like
we definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, that helps too. You don't have to pay $5 extra for it. So it's kind of one of those. What are you about to wrap up? That's right. He was early. That's right.
I was
Somebody else missed out. Oh well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're good. Okay, good.
Yeah. We don't have our
loss.
Nice. Well, excellent.
So we can talk with Ron now. So like live show wise, what do you guys got stuff lined up for live shows?
We've got the 5th is playing the M3 pre-party coming up May 1st, and that's a big deal. You know, M3 is a huge festival on the East Coast. Colts Elect.
Right.
M3 is a festival on the East Coast. Colts Elect got played last year. This year, my band 5th is doing the pre-party, which is a very big event. And the record comes up May 2nd, so we're actually going to have the CD on sale there. And it's our first show back in quite some time because we took our time writing the new record. Our guitarist Justin Womble just got finished having a new baby, so we gave him time to be a father for a while and finish writing the record. So we're anxious to get back out there and make first show back.
So is Code Sweat still a project? Or?
Code Sweat is still a project. You know, we just got finished re-releasing Buried Alive on vinyl, which has a new song on it after 35 years. You know, but it's
never too late.
Never too late. But you know, we got such a great response. You know, Unburied Alive, when we released it on RFK Media, it was basically all the demos that we did after.
It's never too late.
Never too late. But, you know, we re-released it, put some live tracks on it from our re-released it, put some live tracks on it in 2020. I got the CD got a great response, so the label decided the CD got a great response, so the label decided put it out on vinyl, release it, put it out on vinyl, and so with the new song that out, so we just pulled that out and have something on vinyl after all these.
I'm sure you're treated a lot better than MCA was treating, right?
It's cool. If there's a reason MCA is chief assholes, mafia controlled assets.
I got a lot of acronyms.
Pick your acronym. They didn't know what the hell they were doing, you know, and it was one of those situations where you know you got a good record, you know you got a great band, you're out there on the road, you're opening for Ronnie James Dio, and you go to the local record store and they don't have your product in the store.
That's when you call somebody and go, what the fuck?
Yeah, exactly.
And they kept stalling on putting a video out. At that time, it was still a video.
Yeah, right.
So our manager was Wendy O, and she was a ball buster. So we took part of our publishing and merchandising money and paid for our own video. She got it onto MTV. Got debuted on MTV, and MCA dropped this the very next day. I mean, it was just like one thing after another, you know. But that was the era. It was right at that time when grunge was starting to come into play. You know,
I always hate that too because I said this a lot. It's like, you know, people it's like, oh, well, they broke up because of grunge. I'm like, did they though? Was it because of grunge? Like, it's like, I mean, was that because of the grunge era, or was it just because?
I can only speak from my personal experience.
Right, exactly.
Was the industry bloated with hair metal bands that all kind of looked and sounded the same? Absolutely. But there were still bands that were going gold and platinum, and they were still selling, and they were still selling concert tickets. and they were dropped like that. They were just suddenly out of fashion. And I was living in Los Angeles at the time, and you would go down to the Sunset Strip on a weekend, and there would be all these long hair guys with skinny jeans and cowboy boots and their hair and all that stuff. And I'm telling you, within a month, 2 months, you would go down to the Sunset Strip, and it was Doc Martens and flannel shirts. And it was like it happened just that fast. So I think that there was a cultural shift, but there was also just like a lot of people that were in control of the industry at that time were just like, this is the new thing. We don't care about the past.
And that's like another thing with somebody. They signed like 30 bands on the Push 5.
Yeah, that was another thing that happened, and we were a victim of that. But still, it was a great experience for me.
Well, man, we appreciate your time. I know you got to get to another one.
Got another one, man.
Yeah, it's a kind of I call this the speed dating of podcasting. So
that is the truth, man. Absolutely. We appreciate you guys.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for what you do. You guys doing these podcasts and stuff. You guys are holding the banner high and keeping the genre alive, and you're sharing your passion with people. So that means a lot, man. I thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you,
all right, man.
Have a good one.
All the best, man. We appreciate it.
LA Captain from Cold Sweat and the Fifth. New music coming soon from those guys. Looks like Chris said step out for a minute. So. Did he freeze again?
Oh, they ran low.
Yeah, she had to move on to the middle. Did we freeze again?
No.
I did. So.
You did?
And I think there's just too much shit on their internet. Dude.
That might be. There might be. Sorry about that. When the wife calls, you answer.
Well, yeah. You better.
Yeah, you better. So that holds us over until 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Element 117.
I may give you a bathroom break.
Maybe.
Make sure that one's still showing over there.
I mean, that one still shows good on my end.
All right.
Still showing good.
I might have to get a small. That one's yours. I already put mine up. So.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure anybody.
How's it going, man?
Hey, all right.
How you doing?
Hey, all right.
Well, things that you guys interviewed just artists that you've already predetermined, or are you having
So they give us a list, like once they get everybody that's on, they came in to tell them as guest wise, they'll send us a list and say, hey, who do you want to interview? So we'll check off, and then sit that in, and then like 2 or 3 weeks later,
They send us an itinerary.
and then they'll send us an itinerary. So we didn't get everybody that we wanted to, of course, because like people like Billy Sheehan and stuff, of course, everybody wants to interview.
Right.
So it's kind of like we feel like to leave somebody out. And there's a lot more. I think there's a lot more hard rock representation than there is metal here. So,
well, if you're looking for any filler, my buddy George is here. George Troy. He's in a band called Human Code. He was in a Christian band called Deliverance back in the late '80s.
Okay.
He's here. He was like, "How does all this work?" I'm like, "I don't know. I just, So if you guys have some open space and want to talk to them, man, I'll bring them over here."
Okay. Well, I mean, we got like less than 10 minutes until our next interview, so
You want to drop in?
hit the head, and then we'll come find you.
Okay, sounds cool.
It's like
Yeah.
we're pretty like
Yeah.
back to back till 4:30.
Yeah, almost. Yeah.
All right. Well, if you don't, I mean, I'm just trying to figure. I'm like, he's like, what do you do? I mean,
Well, so I mean, if not, I mean, definitely like definitely take this with you and then
All right.
find us on like Facebook and all that
absolutely, yeah.
stuff. And then because we that's what we do. We build up bands that aren't known. This is the only time we ever interview bands outside of that.
What do you guys normally do so far as your podcast?
So we do a weekly podcast every Friday.
But how is that? What's the format for that? Is that just talking about, or do you actually interview artists?
We do
We do
Oh, you do
both.
both.
Our
So
regular.
we try to interview as much as we can. But
Okay.
then we do a regular show just to keep relevant. So
Is it an audio podcast or
Video.
video?
just like
live video podcast every week.
Oh wow.
Our normal format, we start out with we like I say we do it on a weekly basis.
Right.
So we start out with like the birthdays of the week, and we each try to compile anywhere from like 4 to 5 current event stories. We'll alternate reading. Then we have a segment where we talk about the tours that were announced during the past week, and we have something that we do that's original to us, at least as far as we know it's original to us. It's called our theme of the week. We'll pick a theme, and then we each build our own playlist based off it, and we compile it, put it together, and then we each do an album review from everything that came out that week.
Oh, great. And it's always somebody like if it's except for somebody calling out, I'm not going to do that. That's not what we're doing. But we actually try to push bands that nobody knows.
That's cool. So what we usually do with our album reviews is we try to, because we have a website that we use as a reference, and we try to pick a band that, if not new, is new to us. So somebody that we haven't heard before.
So it's a fair listen. You know what I mean? So
We don't have any preconceived notions like, because like Testament or Exodus, or they got a new album coming out. It's like, we already like those bands, so how are we going to like the new album? So that's usually what we do.
What was the name of his band?
Human Code.
Human Code.
He's in two. He's got one band called Human Code, and that's with the drummer for Holy Soldier, Baron Cross the singer, and him on guitar. And then he's working on the Worldview album, which has Ray Parr from Sacred Warrior, the drummer for Holy Soldiers on that one, and Tad Libby, who was in
What was his name again?
George Ochoa.
George Ochoa.
Yeah. And he was in Deliverance.
Ochoa. George, the reason why I know that is because I grew up with an Ochoa.
Yeah. Yeah, George was in Deliverance, and he was also in Vengeance.
Okay.
A band called Vengeance.
So I mean, if nothing else,
Okay. Absolutely, man. Pleasure meeting you guys. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm trying to figure this whole. I know Christine, and she's like, "Oh, come out." I'm like, "Oh, I don't know." And so I'm like, "I come out." I'm like, "Oh,
we've actually like built off of it. So we'll talk to somebody and be like, "Oh, that's like Bob Chiappardi. He's got a whole different perspective than we on the media side." So a lot of people don't know about that side. So we try to keep things like well rounded, where we're trying to include everybody.
Right on, man.
Not just musicians.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Yeah. Well, I'll let you go because I know you got a show that's going to start in 10 minutes?
Yeah, like 10 minutes. Yeah.
Cool, man.
Appreciate it, man.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Now,
You got a podcast start pretty quick.
Like 10 minutes. Yeah.
Yep.
Can I borrow your ear for like 5 minutes?
Sure.
I'm still on.
They're still on.
And there's in that one. So now you're
Okay, cool.
Yeah, now you're
Cool.
Cool, man. I'm Steve from FNA Records. How are you? Here's a bunch of artists that are on our record label. I'm sure you probably know.
I just autographed one of my first cassettes on my own.
So, trying to get these artists interviews and hi-hats and any promotion that we can do. So we're probably with a lot of really things.
So we get a lot of we got a lot of wall in our details on a lot of labels, so we're definitely I don't want just have a print review and I had like a QR code that I put on mine, and it expired. So I wonder if it still works. So I scanned it, and it's like, oh, you got to upgrade to something else. Are you serious? Yeah. So like all the other cars, I handed out later on. They got our email and stuff on them or something. I guess I can. Yeah, man. Yeah, I can give you an email.
Yeah, you got the.
Yeah, we want to write it on this paper before. You got that?
Oh, yeah.
I guess you forgot about that, right?
No, I just didn't. I couldn't remember where I put it.
Yep, the system. Yeah, we're always looking to do something like that, man.
Yeah.
I always say, like, we do a regular show, but if I could fill it with 52 weeks of interviews, I would. I'm Jason.
Jason is George. Jason. Yeah, that's Chris.
Yeah.
This is another guy that's out of the box.
Yeah. Oh, no, he's in there. There you go. I don't have any cards on me right now. So, yeah. And I got all. I put all your. I wrote all your information down too. So, yeah. Yeah, no problem, man. Thank you. Yeah, like I said, we're always down to interview. So, man. Especially, we don't get to do a lot of bands like that because we do a lot of newer bands, but we'd be happy to fill in anywhere. Yeah, absolutely. That'd be great. Yeah, man. Appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah. How much time we got?
10 minutes.
Oh,
9 minutes. About to say.
Yeah. Where you from? Oh, okay. Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. That's cool. Oh, really? I don't remember, man. That was a rough time. Yeah, we introduced the video. A lot of great songs. I got one running around. You should check out his new. He's got two. He's got one new thing. Here you go. Yeah, they just dropped that. Really? Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh, what you guys on for? Oh, you are? The other band, Oh, really? Oh, I like that. Really? The liver's yeah. Yeah, dude, absolutely would. Oh, that's break the silence? Yeah. No, man, you can't. Yeah, I don't want to. You don't want to get out there. I'm telling you, man, I'm telling you. I don't know. All of a sudden,
Chair with my shirt on the wall. It's right from the band's
Oh, did you?
You can still see it, but you also see the chairs. I can't see anything.
Winner of the next one?
I don't think one says it's on.
Yeah. Watch that. Watch that. What? I like it. I hate I walked away when we were trying to talk to you, but we don't have much time to do things. Right. You can always check them out and then write them on later.
I don't know, man. Whatever. We're looking up there. Yeah, definitely will. This is great, guys. Right here, Metal Radio.
We're Metalheads tonight. You go to the next, element 117.
So have you gotten everybody's autograph so far?
So far.
Nice.
Oh no, except for the kid. I didn't get that kid's autograph.
Oh, he's still around.
Yeah, I'll try to grab it. He's still around. I did just see him over there somewhere.
He's still around.
He was just talking to somebody a minute ago. We've only got 2 left.
Yep, 2 left.
Wow.
I mean, we've had a shit ton of people.
Following through.
We've had a bunch.
Well,
Yeah. You know, the funny thing is, yesterday, I was trying to figure out how these tickets going to be a gig. I was walking around some of the empty tables that people that hadn't been here yet, trying to figure out if I could find out who they were. But I was also looking at some of the other podcasts and their itineraries, and it's like, we have a lot of interviews.
really?
Yeah.
Somebody needs to.
What's this?
With 117 shirt
Nice, man.
and our flash drive with our record song.
Hey, cool.
I
You need a 2X. I got it. Yeah, if you don't, that's fine. I'll give it to my wife.
This is hard.
What's this now? Look at that. Yeah. My wife already. I don't.
We'll make it up to you.
Are you good?
Yes. Thank you.
Put this in my envelope right now.
Yeah, you can finish it.
I'm done. Yeah, I want to put flash down my envelope so I don't lose it. You say that's the new record? You say that was a new record on there?
Yeah.
Nice.
It's just got all of our songs on there.
Oh, it's got all of your stuff on there?
Yeah, it's like 10 of our new ones. We went right for last year.
Nice.
So we just released a bunch of singles, and that's just all on our drive.
Nice. Love talking to the locals too. So. You're a local band, right?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Let's adjust this.
You guys, I saw you. Did you guys play the show after Rocket Fight last year or 2 years ago?
We
At
played
the 404.
We played some at the 404, and I think we played after Rocket Fight over at the.
I think I seen you guys at the 404. I'm pretty sure.
Probably-
'Cause I went to
probably
that show.
did.
I went to that show and it lasted like forever.
It was on. Yeah, I can't.
Halo Scars, I think was.
Yeah,
the
we played with
headliner.
Halo Stars. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like 2 in the morning. I'm like, damn, I ain't ever gonna win.
Yeah, Halo Stars.
Best $10 I ever spent.
They're doing pretty good, man. They got the phone in reverse show.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Just did the Nothing More show. Oh, man.
Good guys. Man.
Yeah, they are. I actually was talking about you guys, and they actually said the same thing about you guys. Oh, yeah, I love those guys. I was telling Jason, I said, yeah, we're interviewing Element 117. He's like, oh, yeah, I love those guys.
Awesome.
Tennessee bands taking up for Tennessee bands. I like it. Oh, that's yours. Sorry. I'm not doing mine. Mine's too.
Yeah, no, they have some good stuff going for them, man. Happy for them.
Yeah, we are too, man. Like I said, we've been following those guys for wow.
A good couple years, easy at the way.
Yeah, because you guys play a lot of more heavier style music on your show.
Yeah, well, we don't play music as.
Or I mean, a
much,
podcast. I mean, it's
yeah,
more
we do a lot of more
yeah.
of the
Yeah, we do want to get to the point where maybe we'll have time to do like a Headbangers Ball, maybe hour and a half, and just play videos. Because right now, like aside from when we have like the interviews and stuff like that, we're basically just a current events, metal news, show kind of thing. Seeing what's going on in the world and all that stuff right now, and then we do a couple of special things. We do album reviews. Talk about the tours that are coming out, shit like that, current events.
So you do album reviews?
Yes, we do an album review.
Just gave it to you.
Album review every week. Absolutely. Yeah.
There's one song on there. If you guys, we're gonna eventually get it in a different platform. We just wanted to put something off the computer just to get on there.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Somebody listen to.
yeah.
I've got a USB port on.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm downloading my
Plug it
computer.
in the
Yeah.
back. Hell yeah, man.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we're honored to be here, man.
Man, thank you for joining us, man.
Thanks for coming by. Yeah, so
I think the first thing that I noticed about you guys, I was like, man, we're missing some science nerds here. Like, Element 117. Like, it took me a minute to figure out Tennessine is the actual And you guys are from Tennessee, because it's almost like a crossover from Tennessee. And I was just like, wow, that's pretty neat. I think I've followed you guys for a while ever since I've seen you guys live. So it's like I never really put that together until I was looking it up. I'm like, wow, that's cool. I didn't notice that.
That's the second heaviest metal ever discovered.
Yeah, that's why that was
It
pretty
was
cool.
out of Tennessee. We're a heavy metal band out of Tennessee.
There you go, man. That's what just worked out.
Yeah,
And you was probably like, how the hell have nobody ever done this?
Right. Right. Yeah, it's like.
So was that element actually discovered in
Yes.
Tennessee?
Okay. Yeah.
That's why it's
Yeah.
called Tennessee.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I figured as much, but I wanted to make sure you never know the
Yeah,
you never know the story behind it.
That's why I was looking at the story behind it. I was like, oh wow, that's just. And then of course, 117 is the atomic number of the element. So
Pretty
it's kinda-
interesting.
Yeah. So pretty
I haven't
wild.
had
A lot
to
of
worry.
thought went into it.
No, I mean, and a lot of correlation. I mean, I haven't had to worry about an atomic number in like 35
Well,
years.
right.
That's the first time I ever heard of one.
What?
Yeah, it took me a long time to plant that in my prayer time. Somebody asked me. I'm like, well, ask him.
I want to know that.
Now I think I just, that's how I keep it simple. It's a heavy metal found in Tennessee.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, only element with atomic numbers I know is weed. So
It's like the kiss with the makeup. There was no nothing behind it. It just fell into it.
Right, yeah.
Same way with the name elements. It's genius. I mean, if you really look at it, it's genius. I mean, if you really look at it, it wouldn't work here for Kentucky, right? Kentucky, right?
It's just one of those things, right? Kind of right place, right time kind of things when you're looking for. It's like, all right, we need a band name, and it just so happened,
Perfect mistake.
kind of
Yeah, perfect mistake. Yeah, exactly.
That means task fails to explain.
Like I said, a lot of the greatest ideas come from accident. Yeah. Some of the greatest, probably some of the greatest songs may have been written that way. Honestly, it's just like, hey, we just threw that on there, and like, it was like, oh, we're gonna be the hit. Like what? It's like,
that story of
well, yeah.
Angus Young came up with the idea for the hell.
Yeah, then Bon Scott sang it. Look what happened to him.
No more riding on the toilet.
Sorry, Bon.
Yeah, definitely pour one out.
So what are you guys based here?
Yeah.
Everybody in the band? Yes, everybody in the band.
Well, Mike's in Manchester. I'm in Mount Juliet.
Okay.
The other guy's in Westmoreland and then Shelbyville.
Have you done shows with Dana? Dana Horn, you done shows with? That's what I thought.
Yeah. We did. Holy Stars was with Dana. That's why. Yeah. That's we've seen that.
Okay, yeah. That kind of makes sense now. Yeah.
Yeah, Dana's the. Like Dana.
Yeah, Dana's a good dude.
Yeah, he does a lot of shows at Mike's house.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to get to the shows out there. And that's the 117th, right?
Oh, Jesus.
Oh my God, it is. Oh wow.
It's like
It didn't even dawn on me.
the gates are open.
That's right. Yeah.
Didn't even dawn on me.
It will have its time and place.
Yeah. Element 117 at the church 117.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to tell Dana that we talked to him.
Yeah.
He'll be like, oh, shit, that's perfect.
Well, Dana's been a very good pusher of us. He's trying to get us on some cool shows in the band. I kind of fell in touch with him recently, not in a bad thing. I just haven't really been more focused on other shit.
No, I mean that happens.
I need to touch out with him. He's a really cool cat.
Yeah,
He's definitely a good supporter of our band.
He definitely loves pushing the bands from this area.
He always tells us, he goes, "Hey man, we got a band coming in, man, and we need someone that we can understand their vocals."
Yeah. I think I may have reached out to you guys whenever Ashes Rain was coming, and I was looking for openers. I think you guys were already booked somewhere, maybe.
Yeah, we took a hiatus writing and stuff. So
Okay, I think that's what it was.
You're playing 6 songs, and you play 6 songs, it gets very bored. You know,
you didn't miss anything. It was kind of it was our first time being at this place, and Beanie from Action Rain just booked it. He's like, I just wanted to play something to get, because they were going out to a big show in Texas. They were just trying to get their timing and their rhythm and everything down before they got out there.
So it was
literally called, what was it called?
It was
called
the laundry room in Murfreesboro, and it was literally
somebody's laundry
room converted into he's got a sound booth in the corner.
That's awesome. Yeah, it sounded great though.
It sounded great. It was a literal house show.
Yeah,
it was somebody's house.
Yeah.
I was standing in the doorway of the kitchen, leaning up against the framing of the door.
Yeah. What's so loud is they actually had the fire marshal thing on the wall saying you can only have 72 people in there or something. And I was just like,
I don't see how the fuck they got
I don't see how you get he actually had to know somebody on the fire marshal to get that. It was like, what the fuck?
I mean, the amount of people who are actually there.
Well, at least you feel like you're playing a packed house, right?
The funny thing is that during one point I got into my space, I was turning I was like,
all this insight.
Oh my God, that's great.
Yeah.
The ideas just keep coming, man. There we go. The ideas just keep coming.
Hope you don't get dizzy. Yeah. There you go.
The jokes just write themselves sometimes.
Yeah, they kind of do, but no, it was cool, and it was a good time.
So you guys were talking about a new record. Is that got like a release date yet, or?
No. What it is it's singles that we've been releasing over the last year and a half.
I got you.
Just the catalog.
It's a catalog, but it's ready to release as a record because we've only reached like 10 million people. There's still a billion left to reach.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, sure.
So.
It's about another 2 years.
Yeah. So, but now we have the songs. So we debated, hey, should we do a record or should we do a single? We said we're gonna do singles because, I know plenty of bands that put out their whole record and it's fresh for 2 months, and as you know, it's gone.
Yeah.
I found out we put Taro out. The first single we put out, and we just did our latest one was Set Me Free. No one ever heard of it. 117, they heard Set Me Free and went back and listened to Tomorrow. That's why Tomorrow's just, if you look, it's just going like this. And it's all homegrown. It's not made.
Right.
Every day, 5 people are seeing it. No one's seeing it fall from your grace yet, but they're seeing Tomorrow. They're going back to that big number.
Sure.
So I found that's been cool. And another thing is, like we talked about, that when we do singles, instead of sitting down and write a whole album in your state of mind, now you're getting me. I did a year ago. Now you're getting me a year later.
Sure. Yeah.
My mindset's different. But when it's all said and done, I put it in a CD form because there ain't no CDs no more.
Right.
So why do a record? Now I can take it and build a record. Now I go get it printed and try to sell it. And like that. So that's how we live. I wish you could do a record and people are buying it and the CD. That's the kind of guy I am. But we're CD forms coming. We have it ready to put out. It's just about doing it.
We'll have to buy one of those. We'll see you live next time.
And the cool thing about it is when everybody's seen it live, none of these songs we ever played live. This ain't fair. This ain't Agony was killer when this killer song. None of the songs, because we purposely did that. We're not going to do any of our songs we played for people. We're doing all new songs. Now our set list is an hour and 40 minutes.
There you go.
We wanted to put out something that no one's ever heard. And now our challenge is to put live. And now we're ready to do it.
Yeah, we still got. We're good till 4:20.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah. Y'all good?
Oh, that was the interview?
Huh? Y'all ready?
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
That was fun.
I hate to. I'm always looking over her shoulder, waiting on a proctor to come and go, hey.
What's going on? You got another interview?
Yeah, we have another one at 420.
Oh, at 420, we're good right now. We're good.
Yeah, no, we good. We're just having a blast.
Yeah,
I'd rather shoot the shit like this, anyways, because you guys are fans. I'm a fan of music, you know.
Most people that we've done interviews with, like they'll email us like, man, we love that dude. Because we have some certain things we want to know, but we're pretty much organic.
Yeah.
And like people's like, why do you do live shows? I said, because it's organic, and it's like nobody's doing it live.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, oh, we're going to do this interview on Thursday. And my thing is, like, I feel like the band may say something that they want on there that I may cut out. So it's like if I get it all live and just, hey, this is it, what it is. You know?
It's real.
Yeah,
it's the real thing.
Right. I've always been about being real. So you know, I don't want to be fake and be like, oh, we're going to push this band and like tell you that Element 117 is actually lead. No, we're not going to do that because that's not, you know, that's all we're doing. We're trying to build up, and actually, you know, it's good that we have so much locally that we can help build up. We love that. We're talking about this all day about how big of a scene Nashville is becoming.
We're like I said, we have friends that are in band and stuff. People really don't know what we're about.
Right.
People don't know what's about to go kick it in the face. I mean, really,
I'll tell you like a band that I don't know, you probably know him, Chunder.
Yeah.
Like the first time I seen him was at it was
when Dana had us from out.
We played some shows with them.
So they come out in overalls. I'm just like, oh, what the fuck is this? And then he had us. Oh my God, this is like a hillbilly Lamb of God.
Oh yeah, they're heavy and they're
I didn't realize till later that they changed their outfit. That's their thing. They changed their look. Everything they everywhere they go.
I believe they're out of Murfreesboro, right?
I believe
so.
Yeah. I think they are because the I can't remember what member of Chunder. His son is actually in a band that we just recently.
The drummers.
Travis.
Yeah.
The drummer, yeah. Travis' son plays guitar in a band called No Connection, and they're all kids.
Okay.
And I think 3 and 4 of them are just they're from
Yeah.
It's Travis, and then we got a band.
Yeah.
So I saw Chunder down in Belfast. They're just outside of Louisville. That was the very first time we were ever live, so other than the house. Dana had us out and do our very first live stream out there. So.
Yeah, no, we played a show with Chunder at the 404, and you know, we're just ready to get out there and play because when the songs get heard and we play them, our fans come, they're going to be singing.
Sure. Absolutely.
And that's
especially if you're doing what you're doing now, putting them out there for people to hear first before.
When I was a kid going to concerts, I sang along with it. You know what I mean? I want to see that person, you know, get into that. So that's what I mean by kicking people and taking. Just give them an hour of just, you know, be yourself, man. Go there, just let loose.
Decompress, let loose.
Yeah. See, we have the songs, they are anthems, man. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a big metalhead. He's a man, this guy right here. I mean, this guy's going to Sugar and stuff like that. Yeah. I grew up listening to Morbid Angel and Forbidden and Chalice Blood record. I mean, I'm a deep metalhead. But we write this kind of music. This ain't shit. This ain't stuff that we're doing. This is shit that's coming out of our. This is coming out. This is what we are. And when you start listening to that, you'll start seeing the difference in the songwriting. They fluctuate. Like the 73 is a very deep song. The new one, it's about people who are just trying to. It's a cry out, man. And that's we want to connect with people, just like people want to connect with people.
Right.
And that's like you see what I love that do is like Wayne one day may be in a great mood, great write a song, and you're not a whole album just a song. Sure, 1 week later, you might make it down and write a song. It's like, that's how
Totally different.
it's a different flavor. It's still out.
I think you almost have to be a little bit.
Yeah, then people can relate with it. Like we have one song that's on there too. It's called "You Gotta Get Away." I had hired this guy to work with me, dude, and he just constantly was a taker. Yeah, you don't bring me different cars. Hey, if you don't smoke this car, it's got the point where I just put songs like "You Gotta Get Away." I mean, it's just like, dude, bye.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's an anthem. People you can relate. Because we all got that person. Yeah, you know what I mean? Just
So it's not that I don't dislike you.
exactly.
It's
Yeah,
safe
just get away, whoever it may be. And I don't think you can get that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know,
it's not that I don't dislike you.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah,
safe.
We're not sitting there going, "Oh, we need to go right." We're not sitting there going, "Oh, we need to go right." It just comes. It's like it just comes.
Yeah, we got another one coming, so I guess we better cut this one out, man.
It's like what we like to keep alive because it's organic. It just develops as it comes.
So we're gonna be looking out for that album review,
Yeah,
definitely.
and I hope you guys dig it.
We keep it alive because it's organic. It just develops as it comes.
So we're gonna. Look at that.
we appreciate it, man. We'll definitely be in touch.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for them.
We appreciate it, man. We'll definitely be in touch. Yeah, sure, dude.
Appreciate that, man.
Thank you, sir. Have a good one, man. Element 117. Check those guys out. Local band here. Now we got another legend in the house.
How about that?
Now we got another legend in the house.
How about that? How are you? This one.
Ace Von Johnson.
I'm getting that other.
This one.
Hey, man, we appreciate you taking the time to join us, man.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Thank you for having me.
Hey, man, it's a I won't say an honor because, like I said, you guys, like I don't know how I feel about this. I had Brian Forsyth and Ace Von Johnson on the same day.
Forsyth is a proper rock and roll legend. I'm just a hanger on.
Man, you've been in two of the biggest bands from that era. You're currently with LA Guns, right? So I actually just saw you guys at the machine shop in Michigan.
Yeah, a couple months ago.
Yeah, back in September.
Yeah, Kevin Singh, owner.
Something like that. I don't remember. It's been pretty recent.
It was towards the end of last year.
Yeah. So like I said, it was like I didn't know. First off, machine shop, you got to go, right? So,
Oh yeah.
it was like I didn't know. I saw that bill. It's like it's just going to take me back for a little ways. So, yeah, it is great. Great sounding venue too. And to see like Phil and Tracy and all you got, it's pretty cool. I guess I would ask like what was. I don't feel like there was probably a transition from Pastor Pussycat to LA Guns. What was transition from Pastor Pussycat to LA Guns? Was it? I mean,
Yeah, not too much. They had hit me up a couple times in the span of the first year of the reunion, lineup, and eventually the schedule was aligned, and went out with them for about 2 weeks, sort of as a probational period in 2018. And I never left.
It's a probation period became a permanent position.
Yes, sir.
I guess I understand. Like the band want to go together, do what they're doing, make sure they're ready, make sure stuff's going to arrive, everything. But I guess I got to treat everybody the same. But it's still weird to hear that he had to go through.
It wasn't. No, I didn't mean it for them. I meant more for me, where I was like, I wasn't joining. They needed a guitar player, and I wasn't like, I'll join. I said, I'm available. I'll do this tour.
Right.
And if it works out, then we can discuss after.
Okay.
Yeah.
It just worked out.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, I mean, I said that in probational as in jest. But yeah, no, no, they didn't treat me like that at all. I knew that they'd been courting me. I think it's public knowledge at this point. They had courted me for maybe 6, 9, 12 months. I don't remember how long now, but and it just, I wasn't willing to jump ship because I had to do LA Guns because the schedules didn't line up.
Yeah.
And when they called me again at one point they did, and so I said, okay, well, come and I'll do this tour, and if we have fun, then maybe I'll hang around. I don't know. And so and I never left. And so yeah, and I played Buck Duty for I think a year and a half or two, something like that. And eventually I had to pick one or the other, and I did my 10 years of Pastor with David Belly Guns.
Nice. Cool. So you know, kind of like most guitar players we talk to, you kind of discovered at a young age, what, like 13, I think it said?
Something like that, yeah.
So was it like, did you get your first guitar at that point, or was it just something you playing around with and then got a later?
I'll give you the 10-cent version. My mom was a hippie in the 60s. She used to go see the Doors at the Whiskey A Go-Go and all that stuff. She grew up in L.A. And she had this old nylon string acoustic in the closet. I used to just kind of mess around with it. And I think I was like 13, and I said I want to actually like play guitar. And so I think for my birthday she got me like a real acoustic. And I think I messed around with that for about a year or two. And then I started borrowing friends' electric guitars, and it became a whole thing. And by the time I was 15 or so, I was jamming in the garage with people. And on my 17th birthday, within a week of turning 17, I was like in a real band, functioning band, I should say, booking shows, playing in regionally, and within a year I was playing with bands I was a fan of. This is like punk rock stuff, but still, and booking shows and booking tours. And I did my first tour, 12 days. I was fucking junior in high school, 17.
That's crazy. So you were doing all the legwork and playing everything. So
yeah, that's how I started, and I look back on it fondly still, even as an adult, because the internet existed. This was, let's say, 2000, 2001, 2002, but it wasn't social media, and it was just .com, very rudimentary.
Yeah, because even YouTube wasn't a thing until '97, so it took them a few years to get out there. So
it was still passing out flyers and tapes and CDs and stuff, and making phone calls and stuff. So I learned a lot in the first 3, 4, 5 years as a musician, and then I joined a touring band at 19, and then another touring band, and another touring band, and another touring band, and now we're 25 years.
That says a lot about your ability, though, to join different bands and be able to play their different styles.
I think, to a degree, a lot of it is tenacity, and a lot of it is right place, right time. And I always compare it to like a baseball card where it's like the stats. It's like, okay, this guy's like stars out of 5 or whatever it is. This guy's a 5 out of 5. This guy's a 1 out of 5. I've never had a lesson on guitar in my life. I know 7 modes or whatever. I don't know. And I wish I had lessons as a kid. I didn't see that far,
So you just have like an ear for like a tone to be able to play?
I play by ear, but I think by the time I realized I needed lessons, I already was too late. It was like, maybe in that instance, I was like 1 out of 5 stars or whatever. It was just, like I'm not a drug addict or try to be relatively easy to get along with, and whatever other maybe out of 5 stars. And, I know a lot of it's, like I said, right place, right time. I mean, I've got black hair and tattoos. I know that's got to be worth fucking something. So maybe
you're definitely in the right band to be dark haired and tattooed. So,
I'm very fortunate. It didn't happen overnight, and I try to stay humble about it. I don't even know what the question is anymore, but yeah. I ended up being a punk rock teenage kid in these legacy bands now for the last 16 years or whatever. Between the two, it's been a really weird ride.
Well, the funny thing is everything that you had to do at the start of your career. First off, you probably were trying to build up a career you envisioned, I'm sure, but doing that, having to do everything you had to do at the start, it probably gave you obviously a little more insight that some people may not have had at your age doing something else. Somebody else coming up at the same rate as you. They were probably just, all right, we're just trying to make it easier. You're trying to actually get from emotions. Like, so you're out grinding and handing out letters, and you're out there doing the legwork aside from the actual music. Probably, as you said, you try to stay humble about it. Well, that'll definitely keep you grounded, but at the same time, give you extra valuable experience early on.
I think that like grassroots tactics definitely taught me a lot. I mean, I have these pivotal moments of going to see bands that I'm still fans of, and I'll give an example rather than circumvent it. Again, I'm mostly a punk rock guy. I know I'm known for these sort of 80s hard rock, hair metal, whatever you want to call it, sleaze rock, whatever you want to call it. I'm known for that. But what I enjoyed listening to and where I grew up, that music I was playing was punk rock. Stuff like Social Distortion and stuff. And I went to see Rancid. Everybody's heard of Rancid. And I was 17, and I was out front flyering for a show. And the singer, Tim Armstrong, was also a very successful songwriter, Pink, and all these huge artists. Joe Walsh, and etc. And he comes up to me and he goes, "You passing out flyers for your band?" I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Do you have a demo?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "What else do you have?" And I said, "I got stickers." He said, "Give me a sticker." And I said, "Oh," I was like, "Whoa!" And I gave him a tape. And I gave him a sticker. He put the sticker on his leather jacket. I never forget this. Put the sticker on his leather jacket. And he goes, "I'll listen to this tape when I get home." It's like 2001. He's got a tape deck on tour. He goes, "I'll listen to this when I get home." And he might not have, probably didn't, but I believed him.
Yeah.
He got up and played the show. And the next day, I was still in high school. Everybody was like, "Dude, I saw Jim Armstrong from Rancid at your band. I was jacket." And instantly overnight, locally, that just, and I was like, "Okay," mental, I took note. I said, "Okay," and I kept printing. So I wasn't bothered, but I was like going to bands I liked shows, and was like, "Okay, they're going to come out from the show and be like," and it happened to me still, like, "Hey man, you check out my band." Sometimes it can be a bit much, but for the most part, like, "Yeah, totally." Now it's like, "Send me a Dropbox link." Whatever. You never know. And it's worked out. Sometimes it's like, "Dude, your shit's good. We're coming back to Poughkeepsie and wherever the fuck it is. You should be on the show." I'm just there. But you never know. So a lot of that can pay dividends. And I just tried to learn from all that. And then same thing, like get shows and meeting bands, and you're like, "Hey, next time you guys come through, let my band over to you. We'll book the show. I'll get you guaranteed. Bob's your uncle," and it became a thing. And then that's how I ended up joining bands. Because they'd be like, "Hey, you play guitar, right?" I'd be like, "Yeah." "Can you book us 5 shows?" "Yeah." "Can you be in the band for the tour?" "Okay." And I was still a teenager, still high school. So I learned a lot of that, and I still apply a lot of that now, whether it's, I have a Patreon that I spend a lot of time with, and so applying it to that, or applying it to merch, or meeting people, or VIP stuff for maybe in the band or outside the band, or stuff like this. You have to work on it. Now we call it branding.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, it's like, you have a band, you have good songs, okay, great. What next? What do you do next? You need shirts, and you need to network, and you need to be social, and you need to, not be an asshole, and you need to make contacts and network. There's all these other things involved. Like I said, the baseball card thing. Like, okay, cool. Like, oh, he plays guitar great. Well, there's a million. We're in Nashville. There's a million guitar players. They could train 100 guitar players with 10 the talent will fall out. But do they look the part? Are they cool? Are they a drug addict? Are they an asshole? Are they? They look the part. They have good gear. There's all these other elements that maybe an audience or band member, someone as a fan might not see.
Right.
So trying to cover your bases on all those elements. Somebody like myself, you have to consider all that. So I forgot what the question was 20 minutes ago. But
are you staying in the area?
I live here.
Oh, okay. So that's another like artist that's right here. We were talking about that all day of how many rock and metal artists are in Nashville now. It's almost like don't call us country music anymore. It's not like,
I think Nashville stopped being exclusively country I would venture to say as late as the late 90s, at least early 2000s, because what happened, you started getting producers and musicians moving out here collecting as songwriters. And so by early 2000s, it wasn't just country. And by 2010, there was a rock scene here. I started touring here, let's say, in the mid-aughts. And I had an ex-girlfriend tell me, you started talking about fantasizing about moving to Nashville in 2013. So every time I come here, what the fuck are you doing? Oh, I'm moving. What are you doing? You're too. So it's centrally located, and it's
It really is. Especially for the East Coast side, anyway.
Just the logistical aspect of it. I mean, Nashville is you can go.
I mean, think if you
because from Nashville you can go to St. Louis, you go to Chicago.
Exactly. We started a tour in 9 days. Those guys have to sit on the bus, travel from Southern California to Pennsylvania. I have a 98-minute flight.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, right.
You can go from Nashville. You can go from Nashville to Tampa in 90 minutes. You can go from Nashville to Detroit in 90 minutes. You can go to Nashville to Chicago in 85.
I was on a flight this morning from Massachusetts. Okay,
So yeah,
this morning. 2 hours and 17 minutes.
yeah.
From Boston Logan.
I think
Straight to this.
I think what's crazy, you was talking about that, is I think it's crazy now that a lot of musicians have told us, like, oh yeah, we can just pack up, this little pedal and the guitar and throw it over, and I'm good. It's like used to, you had to drag amps with you and all this other stuff. So it's
digital program will travel.
changed a lot. And it's crazy how much it's changed for like touring wise.
I mean, it does make a lot of sense from a geographical logistical standpoint. It's not real, and of course, everything like we said, Nashville is based on Grand Ole Opry.
Sure.
That's what I mean. So the foundation is already there. So even before all of these rock producers, everything in the rock labels kind of came here, Nashville knew how to do it. They already knew how to do it.
As the
Infrastructure was already there, so all they had to do was get, and then the people were already here. So all they had to do was get the other people to come in and find their spot, and then that's all they had to do. It's growing from there.
There's a hip hop here. There's everything.
Yeah.
Yes,
I mean, it's not.
You can go downtown on Broadway and hear anything you want.
We never called it country music. It was called Music City. It never was like called Country Music City. It was always Music City. It was just everybody just associated country here.
Right?
Like always tell me, it was like, oh yeah, I was just down in Nashville and seeing all you guys like wearing the cowboy hats and cowboy shirts. Those aren't from Nashville.
People who are in town dressing
We call the women that are woohoo girls.
Yeah.
So you guys are currently on tour of the new album, right?
Leave in 9 days.
9 days for the leopard skin. I actually checked that out. It was actually very LA goes to me. Like, you listen to it, and they don't divert too far from where they got started. I think that would all is good for bands to not, because I think a lot of times some bands try to especially if they're from that era, try to switch into something that's more modern and they get lost because people start losing their older fans because of what the hell are they doing, So I think it's good to keep kind of basic and kind of out just a little, what I mean? So
Consistently put out a record every 24 months or so since the reunion, and I think for the fans that only want to hear the old stuff, totally fine. Come see the band. We're going to play the majority of the early material, as you'd expect, with a couple newer ones mixed in there. And if you want to hear new stuff, we're at least offering that. There's plenty of legacy bands that don't, maybe I would love a new full Guns N' Roses album, but I don't know that we'll ever get it. Maybe. But if you don't want to hear it, don't buy it. So it's options there. It's really an honor to be a part of it.
Yeah. I mean, I wish people would take it. Watch what you let the people want to.
Exactly.
It doesn't need to be forced down the road.
I agree.
And it's wild that you brought up Axl, since Axl was kind of, Tracy was kind of like LA goes in the beginning, if you think about it. So.
Oh yeah, the history.
Yeah. Cool. I was actually trying to figure out. I can't remember who the other singer was when Phil left first time.
In the 90s?
Yeah.
I believe it was the first singer was Ralph from Steel Panther came in, but I think there was somebody before him. He was after Ralph.
Yeah, that's right.
He came in the late 90s for an album called Shrinking
They
Violet.
worked on that next album after he left. I can't remember. But anyway, it was like stories that you're hearing.
Oh, it was that American hardcore record.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know who that singer is.
So we seen him at the bar at Murfreesboro, and my buddy got so drunk that he wound up ordering on the tour bus, and they let him on. And I was like, I can't go. And then one of the other players, I can't remember who was coming out, and was like, oh yeah, you're the tour guy. I'm like, yeah, that's not like, so I go on the bus. And like trying to get out, like, dude, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, no, he's cool, man. Don't worry about it. Like, they're all just there drinking, having a good time and stuff. I was like, wow, this is crazy. I'm actually on LA Guns tour bus right now. So, some girl that actually eat their heart out right now. But it's kind of my funny LA Gun story. Dragging him off the tour bus. So.
That was a minute ago.
Yeah, of course you weren't there at that time. It's still funny when you pick that back and tell them, yeah, we're going to talk to a guy that's his friends off y'all's tour bus.
A couple of those stories out there.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. They're counting us down, man, so I appreciate your time. And
Thanks
like
for
I
having
said, man, love I've always been a big fan of LA Guns, and probably not going to change anytime soon.
Right. Trying to fill this up?
Yeah. Might as well, right? Appreciate that, man. Yeah, man.
Hopefully, it's great to meet you.
Likewise.
Awesome. East Wisconsin. Awesome. LA Guns. It's cool to get a little retro in here too, man. We are winding it out. That was our last interview that we had scheduled anyway. Of course, you never know. I don't see Ricky rapping anywhere, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long
We've been here since 9:30.
It's been a great day. This is my 29th day. This is our, like I said, my second year doing this. Everyone that we got to talk to today, everyone that we got to talk to in 2023 was super cool. You know, thankfully we got to talk to Bob Tea Party again this year, and like Jason said, I guarantee, like the career he's had, we've only talked about maybe 1%, 2% of like the shit he's been through, and the stuff he's seen, and everything else. But you know, getting to talk to
a lot of local bands, that's cool.
Bands, I mean, like I say, Peyton Spears, 15-year-old kid just starting out.
Yeah.
Amazing on the guitar. You know, I don't see any reason why he shouldn't be able to go places in his career if he sticks to it. But I mean, Nashville, man,
it's booming, man. It's booming.
Nashville's holding it down. They're holding their own with the hard rock and heavy metal scene. Anybody tells you any different is lying to you, right? Seriously. So, you know, I mean, I'm not sure really what else to say at this point, other than I had a blast.
Yeah, it was awesome.
You know, a lot of fun.
Hopefully, we'll be back next year.
It was cool. I mean, to talk to everybody that we talked to, of course. You know, our friends in Valkyrie's Fire. It was always good to talk to them. It was cool. We were finally able to get them on the show for a little bit. You know, we'll try to set something up a little bit more formal with them, like we do with everything else. You know, Cheney Crab and Theos.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Someone who's overcome a lot.
Yeah,
a lot. She's overcome a lot, and you know they're putting out some new music. Lost Circus, they made a new thing for myself. Christopher Williams from Accept. I mean, granted, not an original member, but still, I mean, playing drums for an iconic heavy metal band. Yeah, Christopher Williams, Brian Forsyth, getting to talk to Beardo and the Weirdo, basically laughing
the whole time.
Laughing the whole time. You know, it's so cool. Roy Cathy, Element 117, and Ace One. I mean, hell of an itinerary we had today. Had a great time.
Yeah,
hopefully all you guys who took the time out to come and join us and watch, even if you're watching this on YouTube after the fact, I hope you enjoyed it.
So I guess that will a wrap on us. So hopefully we'll see you guys on our regular scheduled programming next Friday, unless something of course comes up. Interview we still got talks and stuff going on. So.
After today, we may or may not be able to hook up an interview with them next week. You don't even know.
And then too, get yourself a Metalheads Unite t-shirt. $20. Email us.
That's right.
We'll hook you up. Follow us on our socials.
Yep. Metalheadsuniteusa@gmail.com is our email address. Follow our 24/7 live radio station at stream247.com/8008/stream. Follow us on our Facebook page. Come and join our membership group also on Facebook. Follow us on our Instagram, our TikTok, our Spotify, our Rumble, our YouTube, and our X. I say X. I don't have the thing. I don't have the cheat sheet scrolling across the bottom of the screen right now, so I may have missed one. I don't know, but plenty of places to follow the original podcast. Follow us on Spotify for our weekly playlist that Jason puts together, and then all of our themes of the week playlists are there as well. So plenty of music from Metalheads Unite that you guys can check out.
Awesome, guys. Hopefully, we'll see you next week. Keep a lookout on our socials. If anything changes, it'll be on there. So, till then, keep the horns held high. Jump in at pit anytime you can.
Have a great week, you guys. Thank you very much.